And we are live. All right, folks, this is the sound check portion of the show. Let us know how we sound. Should be good. Actually, I'm taking this off until we get back to the one part.
Okay.
You're not going to?
I mean, I don't need to.
All right, we're just going to look different.
Well, I feel like if I keep these on, then it won't be as loud when we actually go into that part. Because if it's open like this, it's just speakers, right? But if it's against my head, then maybe the mic won't pick it up.
Oh, you think it was picking it up from our? No.
No. I'm talking about usually when you leave the headset plugged in after.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. So if it's against my face like this, it won't be as loud. Maybe.
Sure.
Whatever.
All right. Let us know how we sound. I got to go take a quick break and then we'll get started.
It's a fucking podcast. Having headphones on is normal.
Not for us.
We spent our entire careers with headsets on, and now he's all weird about it. Hola, Tom. Hola, Hector. Lunar Girl. Scott. I'm assuming it's Scott from Used and Abused. Dragon Buddy. See who else is in here. Tango. And we got a click. So it must mean we're good.
Yo, I got these shorts at fucking Costco. $8. These are awesome.
$8, huh?
Yeah, they were on clearance.
Nice.
All right. So you said we sound good, eh?
Well, we got a single click from Bronco Fett. So
then that means we're good.
Yeah.
All right. Let me pour my drink and then we'll get started. What? Everything all right?
Just gonna drink my drink.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
I like how he's got his giant Oktoberfest Stein almost. The tiny handle. Like, where did you get that? I don't remember
Kristen,
you having that.
She found it at a thrift store.
Oh, that's where it belongs.
All right. We good?
I
got notes. Fuck, I didn't bring an iPad in. God.
Well, go get it. You got
No, it's fine. I don't need it. I can just look up there, but I just like having it.
I don't understand why you just don't go get it.
We're supposed to start now.
At 5:30.
It might not be charged.
Well,
that's another problem. So
fair enough.
Totally forgot about that, but I've got the notes up there. I guess I can just look up.
Yeah, I mean,
like an asshole.
Mine are right here. So
yeah, I mean, I guess I could bring it up again, like right in front of me,
in big print too. Like I have it like, so I can't fucking
in the old man font.
Yeah, in the old man font.
But then, of course, if I look at it here, I won't be able to see the StreamYard, which I like seeing the StreamYard. So it's a fucking mess. I'm already fucking things up today.
Yep. You might as well drink more.
Yeah, well, I haven't even started drinking yet. That's the problem.
Yeah, that is a problem.
All right. We good?
Yeah.
All right. This. Give me a countdown and we'll get started. My toast.
Your toast. And ready, set, go.
To everybody on the western side of the United States, while we're just enduring normal New Jersey weather, they're basically burning alive out there. So
to hell on earth.
Yeah, to everybody out there. So that being said, hello everyone, and welcome to the Sidebar Cantina, the podcast where we talk about Star Wars, pop culture, holiday beers, or whatever the fuck we feel like talking about. I'm Mr. Jason Roskam. With me here each and every single week, the natty ice to my Samuel Adams, Dave Martin. Hello, Dave.
I prefer the Beast, maybe.
Okay.
Old Milwaukee's Best.
That is a good one.
Adams. Yeah.
Yeah, you could get a 12-pack of cans of that for like $1.99 back in the day.
$5, you get like a stack of fucking 12 packs as tall as you.
Yep. But it is that time of year again. Of the year.
Of course it is. Well, at least it's a Yingling Oktoberfest, which I actually don't mind at all.
Yeah, they're not bad. They have a much different taste than the Sam Adams Oktoberfest.
Right.
But I couldn't find any Sam Adams. Yingling's obviously a good second choice.
Yeah.
So
Yingling's a better first choice, but
yeah. But this is normally around the time of year, first week of August, where the Oktoberfest beers start hitting the shelves and Dave starts going into frantic rants about the impending drop of fall.
We fucking drove past over in Deptford, heading to Lowe's. We drove past an Old Babies R Us that, guess what?
Halloween store?
It's a fucking Spirit Halloween store. Big fucking signage, the fucking tarp over the old sign saying it's Spirit Halloween. I'm like, I don't know why they just don't fucking stay open all year.
Right.
Well, it's August. It's the first week of fucking August. Stop telling me how close it is to the end of summer. Stop it.
Well, the good news is, if you look at our forecast, we've got some hot days coming up still here in the Northeast. So it's not like it's already starting to get cold or anything, but it's the ominous, it's like, it's coming.
Look,
October's coming. It'll be here before you know it.
The entire point of why I have such an issue with this is because even though I haven't been in school for fucking, 27 years or whatever, excuse me, the idea of fall coming means that it's back to school, and it just hurts. It just hurts me mentally to think about like summer being over and the Labor Day weekend and everything else. Like this week went by too fast. It's suddenly August. It's already the fucking first week of August is behind us now.
This whole year is going by too fast.
It's fucking ridiculous. So I hate it. I hate it.
Yep. So something that we don't hate is this podcast. So what are we talking about this week on this podcast?
Well, what are we talking about? We skipped over a bunch of stuff, didn't we? No, we didn't get there yet.
Yeah, no,
what are we talking about? Oh, shit. Speaking of old fucking things, Stand By Me. Yes. 35 years today, according to limited release.
So as of the day of this recording, it is officially 35 years old. We're going to go in depth later on, but before that, we've got a bunch of business to take care of first. Yes, why don't you start us off with the Red 5 Network?
We are a member of the Red 5 Network. In fact, I think the Red 5 Network is actually getting ready to produce a bunch of updates to like their website. Because right now, if you go to red5network.com, you will find a lot of really, really good websites, a lot of good fun stuff, and they've been shouting us out. And at the end of this podcast, we will shout out everybody.
Yeah, we got a lot to say.
Yeah, absolutely we do. But in the meantime, you can go to red5network.com and look for updates, because I think we have a pretty exciting announcement coming at the end of what was that look?
Fucking Scott is saying something about kids already went back to school in fucking Arizona.
That's in North Carolina too. My sister's kids, my niece and nephew, they both went back to school. But so they have a shorter summer, but they also get more breaks.
Is it one of those quote unquote year round schools?
Yeah, more or less.
Okay.
They have a significant summer break, but it's not like it was for us here in the Northeast United States. But whatever. They're used to it down there. I can't subscribe to it again. It just drives me insane.
Yeah. So
anyway,
Red 5 Network,
red5network.com. Go to it and look for some big updates, and we'll make some pretty cool announcements regarding new members to the Red 5 Network
at the end of the show.
All
right. But before we get to that, we also have to plug some 5-star reviews. So as we mentioned every week, we want 5-star reviews, preferably on iTunes. So go there, leave us a 5-star review. If you write anything, well, first of all, if you go there, don't just click the 5 stars. We do appreciate when you do that.
Yes.
But we also like the comments. So make sure you leave a comment too, because I think we've been getting a lot of new 5-star reviews, but all the people are doing is just clicking the 5 stars. Our numbers going up, but they're not leaving any text, any dialogue. So we can't really read it here on the show because we've got no new written reviews since last week. But I've noticed that our overall review number has gone up.
Which, thank you for that.
We do appreciate it.
But we enjoy reading the 5-star reviews out loud because it's fun.
Yeah.
And it gives us something to do in this part of the show.
Right. And remember, if you do that, if you go to any podcasting app, preferably iTunes, but if you go somewhere else where you can leave a review, just let us know that you've done it. We'll go and we will read it on the air, verbatim. However you want us to read it, in whatever voice you want us to read it, whichever member of the podcast you want to read it.
Yes.
So, and Dave will suck your dick, and Luna Girl will send you a sticker if you leave us a 5-star review.
Not necessarily in that order.
Right. I don't know.
One does not beget the other.
Sure.
There will be no dick sucking.
Right.
I'm just going to go ahead and say that.
Anyway, Dave, try not to suck any dick on the way through the parking lot. But yes, please leave us the 5-star reviews. Anything else to say on that?
37
in a row.
All right.
So nothing else on the 5-star reviews?
No, nothing else. Come on.
All right. So we do a segment on the show every week called This or That, where our social media director, Luna Girl, well, actually, you know what? Why don't we just have Luna Girl herself explain it? Because joining us live here on the show, our social media director, Luna Girl. Hello, ma'am.
Hi, guys.
How's it going?
Not too bad. How are you guys doing?
Getting there.
We're living the dream.
Indeed, we are.
Need some more of this.
Yeah, more alcohol must be imbibed. But in the meantime, Luna Girl, why don't you tell us a little bit about This or That?
You got it. This or That is a segment that I do every single week on our Instagram. Up
and what
in
is
the
that,
stories.
Dave?
At the Sidebar Cantina.
Okay.
And it usually goes according to what the podcast is for the week. So this week we chose to do the movies that made us up in the chat or up in the stories. So the first one we did was Ferris Bueller's Day Off or Adventures in Babysitting.
Ooh. All right, so I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm probably going to get some flack for this, but I went with Adventures in Babysitting because I was madly in love with Elizabeth Shue in the mid 80s.
Yeah.
Between The Karate Kid, Adventures in Babysitting, like I was all in on Elizabeth Shue. Madly in love with her. Adventures in Babysitting was much higher on my list back in the day. I understand the appreciation for Ferris Bueller, blah, 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 blah.
No, apparently you don't.
But Adventures in Babysitting, 100% for me.
No, you are wrong, sir. You are wrong, and I'm willing to bet that the majority of people are right. And Ferris Bueller's Day Off. We're going to do Ferris Bueller's Day Off on the show in an upcoming show.
Yeah,
because the impact of the singularity of taking the day off from school and then going on all these adventures. Like I legitimately, when I was a kid, senior year of high school, we had a day like that.
Mm-hmm.
Where we fucked off from school and did all this bullshit and we ended up getting caught. Spoiler alert! But yeah, the Ferris Bueller's Day Off is 100%. Like, who else would have sat there and thought like, oh, we're going to drive the car backwards and it'll fucking move the odometer backwards? Like, you would never have ever heard that before.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
All right. So Kelly, why don't you tell us who actually did win that? Was it as big of a landslide as Dave claims?
It kind of was, but Jason, I just wanted to let you know I chose Adventures in Babysitting too.
Yes.
But Ferris Bueller won 84 to 16%.
In your face.
All right, whatever. What's the next one?
The next one, I wanted to know your classic go-to movie. So it was Big against the Karate Kid.
I mean, okay. First of all, I actually really love the movie Big. Mm-hmm. Another early masturbatory fantasy of mine, Elizabeth Perkins from Big, was pretty. Oh, sorry, fuck! I forgot we had a girl on the show now. Shit.
It's okay. I grew up with the guys.
A young woman that I truly admired for all of her talent. Elizabeth Perkins and Big. Good movie, real fun movie. However, the fucking Karate Kid. I mean, come on, this isn't even a question. At least for
Nope.
me.
Nope. It was for me. So we had a VHS copy of Big in the house. So I saw Big a lot more times than I saw Karate Kid. And it was Big is one of those movies where I could throw it in there and watch it and enjoy it every single time I watched it. You know, it's Tom Hanks, like as you want Tom Hanks to be, right? As you sit here decades later and think about what Tom Hanks is, like this is watching this character and the idea of being a kid and suddenly being an adult, you know, the Zoltan machine. The Karate Kid is an iconic movie. It really is. And I don't want to take that away from it. But for me, it was like with these two movies, Big was definitely the answer there.
Fair enough. And let's hear some results.
I did not vote for the Karate Kid. Jan. But Karate Kid won it 69% to 31% with
understandable.
Big.
Yes.
Yeah.
And oh, by the way, new trailer for Cobra Kai just dropped in the last week. So Cobra Kai Never Dies this December.
I have never watched a single episode.
Oh, you're missing the best show.
Neither have I.
I don't even know why I talked to either of you two, quite frankly.
I don't either.
Jesus. All right. What's the next one, Kelly?
Okay. You have friends just like these guys. Okay. And your choices were The Breakfast Club and Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Breakfast Club.
Yeah. I have another confession I have to make. I've never seen Fast Times all the way through.
Really?
I've seen bits and pieces. Obviously, the pool scene of an phenomenal actress showing off her, acting talent.
Right.
But other than that, yeah, I've never seen Fast Times all the way through. And even if I had, The Breakfast Club would still win miles ahead.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Breakfast Club to me we already did an episode on it when we were doing Gen X point of view.
Yep.
But it's the way that The Breakfast Club kind of like goes through the movie, the cadence of the movie, I think is almost perfect.
Yeah.
Whereas Fast Times was like very, I don't know. It's one of those. It's tough to get through.
Yeah, and Fast Times, it's kind of silly the whole way through. Like The Breakfast Club, it gets fucking serious at points in there. Which and it really keys in on that fucking teen angst and all the bullshit you go through as a kid. Like even if it's sort of
in an unrealistic library with a giant fucking dinosaur fucking
over exaggerated, much like what we're going to talk about later with Stand By Me.
Yeah,
that over exaggerated point of view as the kid or a teenager.
Right.
But Breakfast Club by far. But Kelly, let us know what you and the masses think.
I also voted for The Breakfast Club, and I swear I know every single one of those people in my school. And everybody else must have thought so as well, because Breakfast Club won 85% to 15%.
Fucking right.
Next, I need to apologize because I thought I was making the most perfect matchup. And then I went to take the quiz myself and said, I really screwed up by making you guys choose. The choices were The Never-Ending Story and Labyrinth. And they are both favorite fantasies of mine. So I apologize to everybody out there. This was a very close race here.
All right. So more confessions. I apologize in advance, but I have never seen Labyrinth.
Never
seen Labyrinth. And I don't know. I love The Never-Ending Story anyway, so I probably would have picked that.
Yeah.
It's like the fucking imagery and the crazy shit that's going on in that fucking movie. Like as a teenager at the time watching this, you're like, it fucks you up. It's because it's fun. It's like a fantasy adventure kind of thing, but it's fucking dark.
Yeah, there's some
super
weird
fucking
shit
dark
happening there, and I think it's kind of the stuff that embeds itself into your dreams like throughout the rest of your life. Like some aspects of like, I would have never been dreaming some bullshit like this if I hadn't seen that fucking flying dog or whatever the fuck it was.
He was a luck dragon.
Yeah,
that thing.
Yeah, you get the moment, like the concept of the nothing just fucking consuming everything.
Yeah.
The fucking horse drowning in the quicksand. How fucking traumatic was that?
Yeah,
Jesus
no,
Christ.
But the Neverending Story to me was just better. The Labyrinth, I've seen it once. I don't care to see it again.
Yeah.
Oh, I absolutely loved it. David Bowie, Jim Henson's Muppets. I mean, young Jennifer Connelly. Come on, you guys are guys.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Ooh.
but
That's a good point.
you should watch it then.
Yeah.
You
No,
should watch it
we could
then.
do it for the show, honestly.
Yeah.
Like if I'm gonna watch it, then we might as well fucking talk about it on the show afterwards.
Ugh.
And again, I'm not
Definitely gotta
opposed to
watch
it. It was just something that just never came across my radar.
Mhm.
So
What did everyone else
oh yeah, so what were the results anyway?
It was very close. The Never Ending Story, 53%, and Labyrinth got 47%. So very close, almost split down the middle.
Labyrinth is 35 this year as well.
Mhm.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all right. We're gonna put a pin in that.
Please do.
Kelly,
I love
remember that. Remember that because again, my memory
Got it,
is shit.
sir.
So
Labyrinth. Got it. All right.
all right, we got one last
We've got
one, right?
One more. You watch this chick flick a million times in your life. And the choices were Pretty in Pink, Molly Ringwald, and Dirty Dancing. Patrick Stewart. Wait, Patrick Swayze, not Patrick Stewart.
No, I would love to see
watch
Dirty
that.
Dancing with Patrick Stewart.
I would watch that. I would totally watch that.
I need more coffee.
That would be the greatest movie of all time.
That would be.
But
Oh
anyway,
my gosh,
Patrick
you would
Stewart
rock.
as the CIA director in fucking American Dad
yeah.
Oh,
like-
yes.
and
Yes.
Dirty Dancing. That would be fucking great. You know what? Honestly, I forget which one I picked for this.
I know which one I picked. And it was
I probably went with Pretty in Pink.
yes. And the reason being, I fucking hated Dirty Dancing. Hated
Really?
it so much because it was all the fucking girls and the women in my whole fucking town talked about for months, if not years. They were
Oh.
all in fucking Dirty Dance. They were all in that stupid fucking song. I had the time of my life. I heard that song so many fucking times. You know why teenagers? Never mind. I was gonna make a really, really bad joke and very poor taste, so I'll keep that to myself. But,
Really? Okay.
Yeah,
Good
yeah.
for you.
No, that song made me hate life, and I couldn't take it. Could not fucking take it. The concept did absolutely nothing for me, obviously, as a teenage kid. And the fact that like every woman and girl in fucking town wouldn't shut up about it just made me hate it. Plus, again, you think about the other option, Pretty in Pink, like you said, Molly Ringwald. This is like the John Hughes tree of movies, and I mean, obviously, I fucking love everything he's done.
Yeah.
It's Pretty in Pink, 16 Candles, fucking Breakfast Club, that whole side of the movie spectrum. I'm all in. So I obviously went with Pretty in Pink. Fuck Dirty Dancing.
Somebody
So-
had you carry the watermelons, didn't they?
Maybe.
Yeah.
All right. So, why would a father have issue with a 30-year-old dating a 16-year-old? I can't imagine why. Anyway.
Well, but if it was Patrick Stewart, it would have been a 16-year-old and a 50-year-old. Which again, that would have been great.
What was Patrick Stewart? I put it in the chat, but Wally, if you're listening, Patrick Stewart.
Yes, Patrick Stewart doing the lift.
Yeah, the lift, the Dirty Dancing.
Now, which
would
one of
be
you guys
spectacular.
is Patrick Stewart lifting?
Well, I mean, I've got the Patrick Stewart look going already, so
No. It has to be Patrick Stewart.
yeah. No, actually, the man Patrick Stewart
Yeah, it has to be
lifting. What's her name? Jennifer
Gray.
Gray. Yes.
Yes, lifting her. Yes. Now we don't have to be on that one. We just need to see it.
Yes, that would be.
and it needs to be on a T-shirt that I will buy
Fucking
enough of that I
incredible.
could wear every day.
Oh my god, that's the greatest thing that we've ever said on this show.
All right.
Sorry about that. All
So,
right.
Is that?
Well,
Oh, hold on, you didn't say what you picked.
Yeah, I did. I said right away. Pretty in Pink.
Okay, you
yeah.
didn't have any commentary, so
No.
you just let me control the conversation.
Yeah, Dirty Dancing's.
All right, fair enough. All right, Kelly, what do you got?
I picked Dirty Dancing personally.
Of course you did.
Of course I did. And Dirty Dancing won 80% to 20%.
Bunch of broads voting.
I know, right?
I don't know how much Pretty in Pink was actually like all his John Hughes movies. Was it? They're kind of androgynous, really. I mean, is Pretty in Pink definitely geared towards girls?
No, because I think us teenage boys loved it just as much as the girls.
Whether we listened to it or not is irrelevant. But whereas Dirty Dancing, it was obviously geared towards the broads. So.
Right.
Oh yeah.
So that was this week's This or That. So thank you, Luna Girl, for coming on.
Are welcome.
And tell us again when and where we will see next week's poll.
On Instagram, up in the stories on Saturday morning between 8 and 8:30.
She's very precise.
Yes, I try to always be on time.
Yep,
I love it.
And that's why your paychecks are always on time too, because of your
what paychecks?
Precision. Oh shit! Never mind. Don't worry about it. Forget I said anything.
Yep.
All right, Kelly. Well, thank you so much again for everything, and we will talk to you soon.
Sounds great. Bye, guys.
Bye.
All right. So that being said, moving right along, we want to throw in a quick Discord plug because we have a Discord channel now.
Yes.
And we have a lot of things in it that we're posting.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I'm actually really happy with the Discord banter that's been happening, especially in the basement.
Right. Because again, with Facebook and, them cracking down on inappropriate content.
Yeah.
It's a good place to get our debauchery all out there in the
Discord
open.
has no such druthers. So go to our Discord invite is in the Linktree ?
I don't think it is.
I don't think it is either. We may need to remedy that.
All right. Shit, if only our social media director was still here.
If only she was listening.
Yeah.
I don't know if even that's how that works. I mean, let's face it. Discord's like brand new, right? It's been around for
very new technology.
Yeah, since we logged into it a couple weeks ago.
Yep. I don't think anybody had heard of it before then.
Never. And so we started using it.
Yeah.
So
now it's a thing.
We are pathfinders.
Indeed.
In Discord. So being the pathfinders that we are, I have no idea how to get this out to the masses. But if you
I don't even know how I got in there, honestly.
I think we invited you.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you.
People are getting into the channel some kind of way. So however that is happening, keep doing that.
And you'll eventually
we'll look for you in there and we'll say hi.
We probably should have done some modicum of research before actually just talking about it without knowing what the fuck we were talking about.
Discord plug ? I think that's what it should have had a question mark on the other side.
Indeed. Also, fantasy football. Any updates on that?
Well, I spoke with our Canadian contingent with Tony Ferrari, and he's moving into he's in a new position where he's actually working with Sports Illustrated Canada or something. Doing hockey shit. So he's like super, super busy.
Dude, fucking awesome.
Congrats on all that. And please search for his stuff whenever you can for whatever podcasts, or if you're a hockey follower, make sure you look Tony up. Yeah. But he, knowing that he's going to be really busy, said that we could open up his slot in fantasy football. So we actually have 2 slots. Oh my God. We have 2 slots. There
are a lot of slots in Vegas.
Every time. 2 slots, 4 contenders. So we still haven't quite figured out, like, I think I know what we should do. We should take turtles, right? We put numbers on the turtles, and then whoever comes from first and second out of those 4 turtles, and we pick the piece of the paper, and then that's the number.
I was going to say, where are we going to get turtles?
Dude, I got a fuck ton of them down the street from me.
Do you?
Oh, yeah. In the lake down there.
They just chill out in the fucking...
We have to stop. We have a turtle crossing sign because you have to stop and help turtles across the fucking
road. The fuck out. Yeah. That's kind of awesome.
No, it's a thing.
I love turtles. I had a pet turtle when I was growing up. Anyway, so yes, we have 2 open slots now in our fantasy football league. I know we have at least 4 or 5 people trying to get in. So not saying you're guaranteed to get in, if you want in, but you should let us know, or you should have let us know already.
Yeah, should have let us know and made sure that I think the criteria we're talking about is you need to be a part of the Facebook group.
Yep.
You need to have left us a 5-star review. Not just click the buttons. Leave us an actual review, however you can do that.
Yep, and show us proof that you've done so.
And let us know that it's you. Don't assume, but based on your handle. I left a review for something the other day on iTunes, and then I looked back at it, and it said the Moon Master as my handle.
No shit.
Yeah, I'm like, I mean, it's an old throwback to a fucking the Moonanites episode from fucking oh my god, I can't think of the name of the show right now. With Fry Guy and Master Shake.
Oh god.
Anyway, the Moonanites are from that, and then like you are the Moon Master. Anyway, it's a great fucking show, and it'll come to me in a minute, or somebody in the chat will say it. Yeah, go in, leave a 5-star review, let us know it's you, and yeah, we'll figure it out. We got a couple weeks left. The draft is going to be September 5th. It's a Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern time, I believe. If that's wrong, I'll post it somewhere. There's also a fantasy football thread in our Discord channel too, which I'm hoping once we get everybody onboarded, that we could get into the Discord channel and have more interaction.
Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Yes, Aqua Teen Hunger Force. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I totally drew up. Like, I knew exactly what you were talking about as you were saying it. I'm like, what was the name of that show again? We're going back like fucking 15 years almost, right?
Yeah, that's a show that I really didn't pay attention to until John turned me on to it.
He knew of a lot of weird shit like that. But anyway, moving on. Are we ready to get into our weeks?
Finally, yeah. God, we've been going for a half hour. I haven't even talked about our weeks yet.
So I've spent the last 2 weeks bitching about shoulder pain and all that. Well, after
being the key word.
Yeah. So I went through a bunch of ass pain to finally get an MRI, finally get it looked at by the witch doctors that we go to on base, and the verdict is in. And he's dead, Jim. I officially have a torn rotator cuff. So, hooray! And Doc said it's probably going to require surgery, but they're giving me a referral to an orthopedic person next, and they're going to take a closer look and determine, do I need surgery? What's the next step? Blah, blah, blah. But, I mean, at least I know now that it is a fucking confirmed tear. So that's something.
Yeah. Knowing is half the battle. And honestly, we know enough people that have gone through shoulder stuff that you get through it to the other side. The good news is, like, because you were working out so heavy, and it's probably why it tore, like, at least you'll have good muscle structure. And like, once the surgery, you get post-surgery and doing physical therapy, you won't have as far to go.
Yeah.
They said that with a lot of stuff. I know before my knee surgeries, it was, the more prep you could have and have strengthen those muscle groups, then the better you're going to be post-surgery.
True.
So that's the good news.
Yeah.
Now you just got to get to that point, because unfortunately it probably still hurts, still sucks.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, it feels a lot better than it did last week. I still do just have some residual pain. If I just put it at a certain angle, it still fucking hurts like hell. So
yeah, well,
I'm dealing with it, but yeah.
Better to get it taken care of now before you get turned out of the Air Force.
Yeah. And, this is having a cascading effect. Obviously, if you've listened to the show for any period of time, you know that I'm a big gym rat. I used to love going to the fucking gym.
Yep.
But because of this, doctor said, no, it's done.
Yeah, verboten.
Yeah. So I actually canceled my gym membership a couple days ago. And that was kind of a sad moment. But it's like, well, I mean, fucking, I'm not going to just, as much as I love the gym that we have here locally, I can't justify paying them the amount of money I was paying them when I'm not going to be going for probably a couple of months at least. So,
well, I mean, if you can get cardio at all, you at least have the gym on base.
Yeah. Yeah. And I like running outside anyway. So
see, running to me, like I had rotator cuff issues when I was swimming in high school. And it was one of those where, like, all right, you probably need surgery, but you're going to be done swimming. And at the time I was still really trying to be competitive for scholarships and shit like that. So I'm like, no, I'm not going to do it. I'll just deal with it.
Probably the beginning of the Dave problems.
Well, that when I run, like the actual like motion of running is when that starts to really bother me. And it's always been a thing ever since those days. It's just part of Dave,
Right.
at this point. But no, you get it fixed, and you'll be right as rain.
Yep. So something else that this is sort of inadvertently affecting is you can see, if you're watching this on the YouTube, you can see my shag on the top of my head is starting to grow in because, when I shave my head, I shave with my right arm, and like lifting my right arm above my shoulder line for any period of time fucking hurts like hell.
Right.
So I'm just like, fuck it. I'm just going to let my hair grow out until all of this is done. And it's funny too, because I said something to Kristen yesterday. I'm like, yeah, what do you think about me just letting my hair grow out for a while, or until my shoulder gets better? And she's like, oh, that's fine. I like it when you grow your hair out. I'm like, you've never once told me this. I've been shaving my head for fucking 17 years, and you have never said anything about how you like it when I grow my hair out. She's like, I'm sure I have. I'm like, I don't remember this at all.
Well, I mean, if we're being fair, historically, you do have a shit memory for some things.
All right, you're probably right.
But if you are interested in the shaving of head, I know Big Swede has endorsed a product that is supposed to be really, really good. Because he is also one of the shaved head persuasion.
Yeah.
And he got an apparatus that I'm not talking around it. I legitimately can't remember the name of it. So,
well, can somebody use it with their left hand? Not you. I know you're one of those devil children who is left-handed, but can a righty, like a normal person, use it with their left hand?
I'm sure they could. I don't see why not. If it's an electric, it's like an electric thing. I remember a picture of it. It's almost like a Norelco, like how you doing? It's got the head.
That means nothing to
the head
me.
Things that move. I'm moving my hands. See, look. No, so like when you put it on your head, it kind of flattens it out. So yeah, I'm sure you could see what I'm doing with my left hand. Look how he is. You say that, and I'm joking about it, but in reality, like when I was getting my left elbow worked on and I couldn't move it, I couldn't there was a lot of things that I couldn't do. Namely, fucking brush my teeth.
Oh god!
Brushing my teeth with my right hand, I might as well have taken the toothbrush and just stabbed my fucking cheeks with it because I'm so uncoordinated with my right hand for doing shit like that.
And I think about the same thing with me and my left hand. Like I couldn't, like just the thought of trying to brush my teeth with my left hand right now. I'm just like, how does that even work?
Exactly. Like eating, like I eat with my left hand, so like eating with my right hand, I'm like, yeah, give me a spoon so I don't fucking stab myself.
Right. So that's that. And I'm sure it's going to have even more overreaching effects as time goes on. But yeah, torn rotator cuff. Yay. Oh, and by the way, the doctor was kind of a condescending asshole when he called me the other day.
Oh, yeah.
Driving home from work on Friday. And he fucking calls me and he's like, oh, congratulations. You've got a tear in the blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay. And, he starts going on and on and on and he's talking. And I'm like, okay, so can we just take a step back? Can you tell me exactly what it is that's wrong? Because I kind of want to know, so maybe look it up later or whatever. And he like spouts like 2 sentences of just fucking medical jargon that I have no idea what he's talking about. He's like, did you get all that?
Oh, fuck you, dude.
Like, who the fuck are you? Like, why are you being such a douchebag right now? I want to know what the fuck is wrong with me in goddamn English.
English, motherfucker.
Do you speak it? Exactly. So, but anyway, that's a whole other thing. Besides my shoulder issues, I hopped back into the Old Republic this week because they're having their annual, and I'm sure I've talked about this before on the show, their annual Nar Shaddaa nightlife event, which is every summer, this casino opens up on Nar Shaddaa in the Old Republic, and you can go, and it's basically a bunch of slot machines, right? You're playing a bunch of slot machines, but it has prizes, and every year they add new prizes, because in previous years, I got a Gamorrean Guard companion as the grand prize when this first fucking started a few years ago. And this year they added, oh my God, the grand prize this year, which I grinded all day yesterday, Saturday, and spent my entire life savings in the Old Republic to fucking get this. But I finally got it. I played enough slots to finally get it. It's a Gonk droid that's nice. That's hollowed out, and inside of it is a fucking claw game. So that was the grand prize this year, was a fucking Gonk droid that'll follow you around, and inside of it is a fucking crane game.
So what do you get from playing the crane game? Do you get
nothing. It's just for show.
Oh, all right.
It's, 90% of the Old Republic is just having bling and flashy things to show off.
Yeah, which is why I'm so bad at it, because I'm like, oh, this has to have some function to it. No, not really. This
No,
is going to make
it's-
me better in battle, right? No,
it's just to
not
show
really.
off. Well, but there's one thing that will help you in battle. Like I said, they had the Gamorrean Guard companion, which is one of the companions that like fights with you and does
Right.
everything else in previous years. This year, they added a goddamn Rhodinian. So yeah, so now you can have a Rhodian companion, and
Never.
I won a couple of them.
The
and,
worst shots ever.
And every time I saw it or thought about it, I always thought of you. The goddamn Rhodinians! I can't understand you. Go back to your planet. So, but yeah, no, I hopped back into the Old Republic strictly for that event because it only lasts for like 5 or 6 days.
Okay.
Every year. And I like it. You know, it's fun. It's pretty mindless, like doing the actual casino stuff. You're just sitting there clicking on the slot machines over and over, but you eventually win. And you can see and hear when other people around you hit the grand prize too, because it's like a big explosion and this fucking like disco ball drops down right over their heads and there's lights going off. It's fun. It's a really fun atmosphere. And you're not out real world money. You know, it's just whatever money you have in the game you can spend on these slot machines.
Right. You don't have your subscription anymore, right?
Well, I did. I reactivated my subscription for this.
Oh, you have to do it?
You don't have to.
Okay.
But when you're playing the free version, you're limited to 1 million credits, like that you can have yourself.
Oh, okay.
I had, over 100 million credits before, but you can't access it unless you're a subscriber. So
you don't necessarily lose it when you lose your subscription.
You don't lose it. It goes into like what they call fucking like storage or whatever, and you can eventually get it all back.
Okay.
But it's basically one of the many things that they do to incentivize subscribing as opposed to playing the free-to-play version.
I saw you playing it. We were talking about this pre-show. I was in Discord trying to keep up with some of the chat that was going on in our Discord channel or server, I guess is what they call it.
Mm.
And I saw, Jason Roskam playing Star Wars Old Republic. I'm like, because back probably like 3-4 years ago when you had got me into the game, I think we played it through Discord.
Sure.
And you were helping me through some stuff. So for whatever reason, when you started playing it, it popped up on my Discord.
Yeah.
And said, Jason's playing this game. And
I guess Discord syncs with your games and it'll let people know what you're playing. Yeah. And I didn't even realize that because when you said that earlier today, I'm like, oh, really? Yeah. So,
and then what was funny is I saw it in the show notes and I'm like, oh, hey, look, I guess he really was playing.
Yeah. So, but to your point, I did resubscribe, and after I got like all the prizes for this year for the Nar Shaddaa event, I just started playing some characters, and it's been really fun because I haven't touched it in well over a year. So it's nice to be back and kind of playing through some of the stories. And
I'd like to get back into it. If I have, I need more time.
That's the problem.
I need more time.
Games like this, they require a time investment, and if you don't have the time, then you really can't enjoy it the way it's meant to be enjoyed.
Facts. Which is why I tend to stay away from it.
Right. All right. Last thing for me. So you and many other people in my life over the last, I don't even know how many years now, have all been busting my balls about Rick and Morty.
Right.
You've all been telling me, fucking, you need to watch Rick and Morty. When the fucking refugee caravan came out here for our episode 100, we watched one episode of Rick and Morty. We watched the Meeseeks episode, which to this day is still the only episode of that show that I've seen. You were busting my balls about it again within the last week.
Right.
I can't remember what the context of the conversation was, but I started having a thought. I'm like, okay, why don't I do this and make some content out of it at the same time? So reaction videos are huge on YouTube, right? Sure. People doing reaction videos on YouTube it's such a huge part of that whole website. And I'm thinking, all right, why don't I watch every episode of Rick and Morty and do a YouTube reaction video for each individual episode?
Okay.
While I'm doing it, because people have done that. Like, I'm really big on another Dan Harmon show called Community. And I don't know how many other people have watched it out there, but Community is a fucking great show. And there are people who had never seen Community and they watched like all 6 seasons of Community and reacted to every single episode. And they've got fucking tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of views on those fucking videos. So I'm like, well, fuck, why don't I do the same thing for Rick and Morty? So
yeah, do it.
Again, it's going to be a time thing. I need to figure out a day of the week where I could do it, do the proper recording, do the editing, and then post it out. I would post it out to the Sidebar Cantina YouTube channel.
Right.
But, maybe it can generate some more traffic for us, and you can all watch my reaction to seeing these shows for the first time. Because everybody has told me, like, dude, you would fucking love this show. This is like right up your alley.
Yes.
I'm like, I don't disagree, but there's just so much other stuff going
You
on
have
in my life.
Hulu. You have the ability to see all these.
Mhm.
You need to do it.
Yeah. So that's the plan at this point. Is I will watch every fucking episode of Rick and Morty, and I'll do a YouTube reaction to it at the same time. I'll probably have to edit it. I'm sure like they won't let me do the whole fucking 24 minutes of having the show going on in the bottom corner. So I'll have to do some selective editing. But yeah, that'll be the plan moving forward.
I like it. And if you need me to jump in there to help, I will do that.
Sure. Like if there's select episodes that you want to be there for, then we can do it. We can figure out a way.
Nice. I've not had the opportunity to watch any of the season 5 yet because it's.
Is that the most recent season?
Yeah. So I forget what the situation is. It's not on Hulu where I can watch it because I have straight Hulu. I don't have Hulu Live. So I don't have it like the full unlocked access to Hulu. So, and I don't think it's on Hulu. I think it's on something else, but it will be on Hulu and I will enjoy it once it gets there.
So that is that. And that's the end of my week. So a little bit long-winded this time, but you know, lots been going on.
Yeah. I don't have shit. I'm fucking tired, dude.
Yeah.
We talked about the weeks just kind of fucking sliding by and the summer's disappearing. And I get to the weekend and it's so fucking, it's not like somebody is forcing me to like work, but there's so much to do.
Right.
That why wouldn't you throw that in a recycle can?
So that's
everyone heard you miss it.
That's a question I've always had. Are you supposed to recycle the caps to your fucking beer bottles?
These are metal.
Right, but I mean, what kind of metal? Like,
there's nothing more recyclable than fucking metal.
But they've got that plastic, like,
it'll melt out. They fucking melt these things.
I don't know the process.
Jesus Christ. Watch it how it's made, for fuck's sake. Anyway. HBO Max has it. Yeah, I don't have HBO Max.
Apparently we need to. I really want to see The Suicide Squad. Apparently it's really good.
Yeah, I got to figure out how to.
So, anyway. But I don't know if that's something you have to pay extra for.
Probably.
Because that's the big thing with the streaming and the whole, you know, the Scarlett Johansson lawsuit we briefly touched on last week and all that. But yeah, I know that's with these combined releases, it will go to, like, for the DC movies, to HBO Max. So
I don't want to pay any more than I absolutely have to. And that would be, unless I can figure out how to get that for free, I would do it. But I think with my AT&T thing, I can have one premium subscription as part of my AT&T contract.
Yeah.
And right now I have Spotify, like Prime or whatever. Like, so, and I don't necessarily want to lose that because I don't pay for Apple Music. So there's like,
which that's what I do is, in fact, Kristen just got her own subscription to Apple Music in the last week because it's so good.
It is very good. And there's lossless, and I have a lot of Apple Music that's on various drives. It's a thing. Anyway, in a world where I am limited in what I'm allowed to, have as far as subscription goes, like I have to choose wisely.
Right.
So
no, I understand.
Anyway, yeah, but I'm fucking tired. So by the end of the weekend, I'm exhausted because I'm like trying to get all this shit done, and relaxing is not a real thing. And then the work week starts again, and I'm fucking busy. So I'm just tired. I need to not be as fucking tired. I'm going to bed like Jason hours.
Ooh, we talking like 8:30 kind of time frame?
Like at 8:30, I'm waiting for it to be dark enough so that I can actually like go to bed and not feel like I'm fucking ancient.
Yeah.
Because I'm not getting up as early. Like you would be getting up to go to the gym, hence going to bed early. Like I would just be in bed until I had to wake up. So,
right. Well, sleep is good, allegedly.
Allegedly, if you were anyway. So it was something funny. You're talking about your hair, right?
Mm-hmm.
I got a haircut this week. I cannot begin to express how much me having hair that's just a smidgen longer than it's supposed to be, how much that affects me and my personality.
Really?
Yeah. There's little things about me that, like, if like my fingernails are too long, it it has a very physical response. Like I have this, like everything, like my anxiety, everything gets up. Like, and I know exactly what it is. Like, oh, you know why I'm doing this? Because my fingernails are too long, and I cut them down to the nubs, right? So if there's any white showing, I need to fucking get rid of it. So yeah, that's just how I am.
Okay.
And when my hair, if it's long enough where it's like it starts touching my ears, or I can feel it on my neck, it has a very visceral thing, and my body reacts to it.
Well, when you have to get your hair cut like that for 20 plus years,
I guess, because at one point, I had slightly longer hair, but I've always had relatively short hair around my ears and shit like that.
I specifically remember there's an old picture floating around of you and Kathy.
Yeah.
Very, very young. And even then you had a very clean cut.
Yeah.
This was pre-military and all that.
Yeah. I always I always had clean sides. I went with I had like the skater fucking longer, flip up in the front.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a longer bit, but the sides were always cut, because if it's touching my fucking ears or my neck, I start losing my fucking mind.
Right.
And that was happening this week. It got to a point where I couldn't sleep because my hair was too long.
Jesus.
Like, and as somebody who's already has issues sleeping, like, to know that that's the reason why,
that's not good.
It's not good. So I finally got a fucking haircut and can be like a normal functioning human being again, which is fucking glorious. Like, once I got my haircut, I'm like, oh God.
I wonder if that's the equivalent of women who have you see it, their hair is pulled back so fucking tight in the fucking bun and everything. And you're like, that's got to be so much pressure, like pulling on their fucking scalp. Like, why would they do that?
Well, in the military, it was because they fucking had to.
Yeah.
But now they don't have to, which is fucking weird. It's fucking weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sidebar. Look, you're still in. I'm not. I'm still plugged into the Matrix though.
I've already seen it.
And I see, oh my God, it was the fucking the microsecond that it was approved. Like, all of a sudden I'm all I see is ponytails.
Yeah.
Like, and long ponytails, like, to like, all right, it's supposed to be to the middle of your shoulders, whatever. And it's like, no. You immediately started pushing those boundaries, like, right out the gate. And you know what? Good on you.
Yeah.
Like, if there's hair loss associated with that and everything else, 100%, you shouldn't have to go bald because you were in the military. Like,
as a woman,
anyway. Yeah. Or an aspiring woman, for that matter. But it just looks so fucking weird.
Aspiring woman.
It looks so fucking weird to see them in uniform with their fucking hair down. It's not something I can get used to. Do you know any aspiring women, Jason?
That may be the greatest thing I've ever heard in my life. All right.
Anyway,
anything else?
So I think we talked. It might have been in the post show, or it might have been in part of the show last week. We were talking about kind of being airplane nerds.
Mm-hmm.
So I did
aviation nerds, not airplane nerds specifically. But
as an aviation nerd, I have been looking at this product. It's called a Stratus puck, right? So we had Stratus pucks on the jet. I don't know if you remember, like, before they integrated the like ADSB stuff into the avionics. Like, we had a separate fucking device.
For what purpose?
So this is like, it's tracking ADSB,
which is what?
It's like think transponder.
Okay.
Right? It's a version of the transponder that's basically connected outside of the mode 3 or mode 4.
Okay.
Right. So ADSB is a thing, right? With the puck, you can actually log into the network that everyone's transmitting on and see the traffic real time. So I don't have to go to FlightAware to see traffic. I can actually, like, within the range of whatever I'm picking up.
And when you say the traffic, you can see the specific planes and exactly where they are.
Yep. In
a certain geographic location.
Yeah, real time. And I throw it on my ForeFlight. It's just like it is in the airplane. I for less than $200, I got a Raspberry Pi and some materials, threw it together today, and it works like fucking gangbusters.
How does it label the aircraft? Does it label it by their call signs, like Cactus 318?
No. So, like, Delta is DAL, then the flight number.
Okay.
And then you can click on it though, like so it'll give you the indicator, and you click on it, and it'll tell you some basic information.
Okay.
But yeah, so it's whatever the ADSB is broadcasting, and military flights. It's everything that's out there, and it's just a receiver, and the fact that I could pay less than it would have cost to buy an actual Stratus puck, and I could throw this thing together using a Raspberry Pi, which holy shit, those aren't the most functional little things ever.
I fucking love the whole concept of Raspberry Pis and what you can do with them outside of like retro gaming and all that and emulators. The possibilities are endless.
Yeah, and this is one of them.
Yeah,
that's at the heart of this thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's fun, and I got to play with it a little bit before I came over for the show.
Nice.
And oh god, it's just straight fucking aviation nerd shit.
Yeah,
there's no reason for it. I have no practical reason for it.
Yeah.
There's all I want is to be able to fucking see the ADSB and not have to rely on the fucking internet, because like FlightAware. Like, oh, well, if you subscribe to us, then we give you a little bit more information or whatever. Like, no, I don't want any of your bullshit.
Yeah, go fuck yourself.
I know how to interpret the data. Just fucking give me the raw data. So, anyway.
And it's funny, too, because somebody who works at a law firm or works at Costco or something, it's listening is like, why do you give a shit? Because and if you've never been in aviation, if you've never been an aircrew member, or you've never done something like associated with aviation, you wouldn't understand.
Yeah.
So
it's a thing, and it's there's no reason for it.
Right. But I mean, even I am interested. Like, I'd love to see that.
I'll show you when we go for the post show. I'll bring it in.
Yeah.
It's fucking great. And that's it. That's all. I mean, I haven't done shit except for fucking work and work.
Work and be tired.
Work and be tired.
Yeah. The life of 40 plus, apparently.
Fucking hell, man. Anyway.
All right. So I think this is a good time for a break.
It is, because I got to piss like a monkey's racehorse.
Before we get into our main topic. And we will be right back.
It's not official until I do this.
Oh.
There we go.
Hold on. Well, hold on. You haven't seen this one in a while. So, all right. We will be right back after this quick word from our sponsors.
Boop here.
All right, go pee. All right, I saw somebody reference me in the chat. It is Jason It Hurts. What are we talking about now? I've already forgotten. So, all right, glad to see we have Bronco Fett in the chat. I was concerned that we weren't going to see him after our move to Sundays, which, by the way, may be changing soon. We may be going back to Mondays. Shh, I wasn't supposed to say anything. Jason highly recommend the Apple bundle. I mean, we already have Apple TV. Well, what is Apple TV Plus? Like, we have an Apple TV in the house. I have Apple Music. So this is the thing too. None of us in the family are on the same like Apple account, or even like the family sharing thing, whatever the fuck that is. Like, I have my own iTunes account. Kristen has her own iTunes account. So like, do we all have to be on like some sort of consolidated fucking Apple account, or how does that work?
For what? What are we talking about?
Your boy Vickers recommended the, what is it called? The Apple the Apple bundle. So get back at me with that. I'm gonna piss.
Yeah, I went back to it for a hot minute, and then no, I'm just seeing your text. No, it's not the Bald Pro head shaver. It's not made by Remington. It's made by like something. I want to say like involves apes. Let me scroll back. There may be enough bald people in this listening right now or watching via YouTube that this actually bears some relevance. There's Nick Durden. Here we go. It's called the Pitbull Skull Shaver Gold Pro. Let's see if we can. That. No, shit. Anyway, I don't know if people can see that. I'll type it out in the chat.
For some reason, I completely fucking forgot to add something to the notes. So I'm going to do it right now. After the Stephen King part, we're going to do the our history with the movie, because I don't know why I didn't add that.
We would have talked about it naturally anyway.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. But I'm going to add it anyway, just so we have it.
It is the Pitbull Skull Shaver Gold Pro. That is sweet approved. Enhance. Enhance.
All right. I added notes for our history with the movie. Because again, for some reason I forgot to add it because I don't know. I'm totally off this episode. I don't know what it is.
It's because it's Sunday.
It's got to be it. I got one beer left. I might have to go into the house, grab a couple more. I bought 2 6-packs yesterday when I saw that they had Oktoberfest. So, all right, I'm putting the cap in the recycle.
See, was that hard?
That's what she said.
You all right?
It's almost overflowing.
Sure you don't want to go get it now?
I'm gonna go get it now.
All right. Yes, we will definitely be wishing Dragon Buddy a happy birthday at some point, because he got a fucking giant or life-size Babu freak. Where's Babu? Where is he? Yeah, there he is. He's up there.
Oh, listen to this bullshit.
Okay.
I have to work tomorrow. Well, I have to work every Monday, but no teleworking tomorrow. I have to actually drive into work tomorrow.
What?
Yeah, so
Why?
training
Shenanigans?
bullshit. Yeah. It's a legit reason, but I don't get to telework tomorrow, which, depending on how many more of these I drink, it could be a interesting day.
Yeah.
So, we're ready to get into
It's
it?
a good thing you don't have a 7 a.m. showtime.
Right. That's
Fucking nonsense.
yeah. You ready?
You know what time our roll call is tomorrow?
Probably like 9.
32. So 9 a.m. show, 9:32 roll call.
I gotta fucking retire already.
That's the active duty. That's their fucking business hours.
Is fucking Big Sweet in the chat?
I don't think so.
Hey, let me know when you guys got any more openings. I gotta fucking retire.
You do.
Fucking working for the man sucks. All right,
Working for that man, especially.
indeed. All right, give me a countdown whenever you're ready.
All right. Unplug the headphones.
Oh, yeah, because we need that 30 seconds of silence. That's the whole point.
Ready, set.
And we're back.
I held a burp that entire time. You shouldn't do things like that. It's bad for you.
Right.
Ugh.
So, stand by me.
So darling, Dusty.
Well, I guess we might as well get that out of the way, because of all of the movies that Hollywood has made that is based off of a song title, this is probably the best one.
Well,
And I kind of wonder if this was the start of the trend, right? Because, I mean, we've seen it all throughout the 80s and the 90s, even into the fucking 2000s. Hollywood will take popular songs, just the title, and they'll make it a fucking movie.
Yeah.
You've seen it so many fucking times.
Well, interesting that up until I was like today old when I found out that this was based on a Stephen King novel.
You didn't know that before?
I didn't know that.
Oh, interesting.
So, yeah, the idea that,
and
I don't know why Stand By. I don't know why they picked Stand By Me based on how the book title was The Body.
Yes.
So, I mean, all right, in the story when with the fucking between Will Wheaton and fucking River Phoenix, and they have that whole all that stuff going on. Okay, Stand By Me, I get it, but
yeah,
The Body would have been more appropriate.
Well, that would have been more Stephen King-ish. Well, and that's the thing, because you and I'm sure a lot of other people probably never knew that this was a Stephen King story, because it's not that entrenched in your typical Stephen King horror type of story. This is, it's his more personal, and it was a short story, so it wasn't like a full novel. And he's written a lot of short stories over the years, which have been adapted into very good movies. Another great example, The Shawshank Redemption. Fucking phenomenal movie based off of a Stephen King short story.
I didn't know that.
You did?
I didn't know.
You didn't know Shawshank Redemption was another Stephen King story? There you go.
Fucking idea.
Exactly. Wow. And again, how would you, unless you were either paying attention during the credits, or or did any kind of modicum of research on top of that.
To movies in general, but okay, yeah, it's
right.
Fair.
Yeah. So, and I mean, I'll be honest, I don't know how big Stephen King was back in the early fucking 80s, because he was not on my radar at that point. Later,
because we were fucking 10.
Yeah.
10, 11, 12 years old, like during when all this shit was going on.
Right. So you hear the name when you're that age, you know of Stephen King. And then of course there's The Shining. That was probably his first big
The Shining.
Yes, exactly. Like his first big on-screen exposure.
Right.
For one of his books.
The first Stephen King thing that I saw was Christine.
Oh yeah, that was another one.
Yeah.
Like what year was that? Was
83. I just looked it up.
Okay.
Yeah, so that came out in 83. I was way too young to see that fucking movie.
Yeah. Well,
I'm averse to fucking horror movies as it is. And I think it has to do with some early exposure to movies that I probably shouldn't have seen at that age.
Well, and I remember seeing The Shining at a very young age.
The Shining.
Right. So clearly he was a big thing at this point.
Right.
So, who's to say that like even his short stories were like fucking big, potential for IPs and people to make movies and stuff out of them.
Right.
Like who the fuck knows what the climate was at the time. But yes, this was based off of a Stephen King short story, which I have a quote here because this really kind of epitomizes everything that's going on here. And this is talking about Rob Reiner doing an interview.
Crazy Gold Medallions.
Yeah. While they were doing the press for Stand By Me in 1986. Unlike the classic horror stories, The Body shows a more personal side to Stephen King, the king of horror. Many of his stories draw upon his own life. And in 1986, in this 1986 interview, Rob Reiner said that King was given a private showing of the film. And this is the exact quote that Rob Reiner said. So hold on. My eyesight is going.
I can tell because you're skipping words in your own read.
All right. So we showed the film to Stephen King alone in a screening room. And when it was over, he was pretty broken up. He excused himself for about 15 minutes. When he came back, he said, "That's the best film ever made out of anything I've written." Keep in mind, this is after Carrie and fucking The Shining and probably some other stuff had already been released. Anything I've written, which isn't saying much, but you've really captured my story. It is autobiographical. All that was made up was the device of the hunt for the body. I was the writer, King said, and my best friend was the guy who actually did instill the confidence in me to become a writer. And he actually was killed as a young man. And also, if you follow us on Instagram, our social media director posted another little meme that talked about how Stephen King mentioned that the Leech story, which we'll talk about, was a true story that happened to him as a kid.
It's fucking insane.
Yeah. So a very autobiographical story
Yeah,
from Stephen King.
76 is when Carrie came out.
Oh,
80 was The Shining. 82 was Creepshow. 83 was
Creepshow. I saw that too back in the day.
You should never have seen that movie.
That was the same one too.
As a child, you saw this movie?
Oh yeah, and that was the one too where one of the stories was fucking Stephen King. Like Stephen King, the person, was the character, and he found like some fucking asteroid that hit the Earth that had a little piece of moss on it, and he touched it, and this piece of moss like fucking got onto his finger and like grew like over his whole fucking body,
turned him into Venom.
Yeah, well, no, it was like moss. It was like green. It was like this like green growth, and he fucking eventually shot himself in the head at the end.
Nice. So, along with that, 83 was Cujo, The Dead Zone.
Cujo. I fucking saw that when it was new.
Dude.
You talk about fucking disturbing.
Dude, 83, he wrote the novel in 81, right? So in 83, I was fucking 8 years old. There's no way. I've never seen Cujo. I've never seen the movie.
So a lot of these stories tie back to me and my mom.
Right.
Because when I was younger, it was like me and my mom kind of surviving.
Right.
But we'd see a lot of these movies together. I remember watching Cujo with her for the first time. And we were probably the same age as that fucking mom and the kid in that fucking movie when we watched Cujo. Them being locked in the car, trapped by this fucking rabies-filled dog. Oh, so fucking disturbing.
Yeah. And iconically, what are you doing?
I dropped my coaster.
Jesus, how'd it get all the way over here?
Physics.
Cujo is one of those, a dog that seems like it's a little aggressive. You call it a Cujo, right?
So
even today,
yes,
you do that.
When I was growing, like after this, like late 80s, early 90s, we had a dog called Kato.
I was going to say, and you did not name a dog Cujo.
Well, and the neighbors called him Cujo.
And was it appropriate?
He did end up biting one of the neighbors' kids. So. So yeah.
Oh, fuck. Anyway, 84 was Children of the Corn, which is holy shit.
That was 84?
84.
Wow.
Firestarter was in 84.
Yo, Firestarter. I saw that movie as a kid too.
Firestarter.
Holy fuck. I didn't realize how many of his movies I had seen at a very young age. Fucking Drew Barrymore, man.
Yeah. Cat's Eye was in 85. Silver Bullet. And then 86, when he did Stand By Me, or, Stand By Me was made into a movie, and Maximum Overdrive.
He did Maximum Overdrive too? Oh my God, I fucking love that movie.
It was written and directed by Stephen King.
Get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Yo, we got to talk about that movie. What year was that?
It's 35 years ago, 86.
Oh, we got to do fucking Maximum Overdrive.
I've never seen it.
That was one of those movies that we recorded on our fucking Betamax player when it was on, the movie channel. We fucking recorded it. I've seen Maximum Overdrive 100 times. Easy.
Okay.
It's been a long time since I've seen it.
It came out in July 25th, 86.
Oh, so we just missed the anniversary.
We did, but doesn't mean we can't do it. I've never seen it, so it would be new for me.
Man, I can't believe, like, after you listed all of those, I'm like, seen it, and seen it when it first fucking came out. That's the crazy thing, because you got to remember how crazy. You got to remember how fucking young I was, which is probably why I'm so fucked up now.
Probably. That answers a lot of questions, Jason. I'm not gonna lie. Anyway,
so we get to Stand By Me, which is like the most tame story of everything we've already talked about.
No shit.
And again, it was very autobiographical for Stephen King. And, it's a real, I was reading it on, I think it was Wikipedia or IMDb, and they mentioned how it was the most, if not the most, or best coming of age movie ever made.
Yeah.
Ever. Because it's a bunch of fucking teenage kids, and it's a very small snapshot, but it gives you a real good feel for the life of a teenage boy.
Right. As opposed to a movie like Goonies, where it was a bunch of kids doing like such unreal stuff.
Right. It was a very adventure-like movie. It was or fantasy. You want to you'd be more inclined to compare Goonies to like a Star Wars or an Indiana Jones, whereas Stand By Me is so grounded in reality, and it's so. I mean, the fucking, it kicks you in the nuts a couple of times when it comes to like the fucking harsh reality of what these kids probably went through.
Yeah.
Especially when we talk about later, like their parents and the shit that their parents went through and how that probably affected these kids and their lives.
Right.
So, but anyway, we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves. So you mentioned at the top of the show, it was August 8th, 1986 was when it was first released. It was a limited release. So that's typically when it's like New York, LA kind of thing. And then 2 weeks later, it had its wide release. But yeah, that was 35 years ago today because we were recording this on August 8th.
35 years ago. So yeah, I was 11 years old when this came out.
In 86, I'd have been not even 10 yet.
Yeah, because I didn't turn 12 until October. So yeah,
right.
I was 11. We're gonna get into our history, and I might as well jump in because I don't have a deep history into it, but I remember this was a rental into the house. This was a brown box. We had
my god, the brown boxes.
The brown box. So this is the rental store in our town that was next to a Domino's Pizza, and that was the rental store.
Yeah,
and yeah, it was. I remember it got brought home, and I think we had it for maybe 2 nights, and so I'm pretty sure I saw it twice.
Yeah,
before we turned it back in. I hadn't seen it again since.
My story is goddamn near identical. Because I remember watching it for the first time after it had come out on video. We probably rented it. And it was mostly like me and my mom because my siblings were fucking just barely past toddler phase at this point. So they didn't really get much out of it. And my stepdad, he was a fucking asshole, just doing whatever assholes do. So it was mostly like me and my mom watching this movie. And again, yeah, we rented it when it first came out on VHS, probably a year later, probably in 87. But at that point, I'd have been 11 or almost 11. So practically the same age as these kids, where I'm sure you're in the same boat where, you and I were from a very small group of people that were the age of these kids when we saw this fucking movie.
Yeah. It came out on video May of 87.
Okay.
According to the internet.
And that makes sense. So I'm sure I saw it summer of 87.
Yeah.
Probably on Betamax still. Cause I don't think we had adopted VHS until like 88, 89 time frame.
Yeah. We went straight to VHS.
Yeah.
We chose wisely.
Indeed. So, but yeah, no, it was the exact same thing. We rented it. I'm sure I watched it once or twice. Me and my mom, we both fucking loved this movie, but I don't think in fact, I'm 99% sure I have not watched it all the way through since. Obviously, as you go through life, you see clips, right?
Oh yeah.
I've seen clips of them running from the fucking train on the bridge multiple times, but as far as like sitting down and watching it as a movie, yeah, first time in probably 34 years.
Yeah.
So
yeah, 87. That would have been 34 years ago. So yeah, really remarkably same things. And it's also one of those movies where you get a lot of like the scene with the leeches, which I'm sure we'll get to, and with the train and running on the fucking tracks and everything else. As you're growing up and you have these like little instances where you have these callbacks to this and you're like train and you start fucking running like it's like Wayne's World calling car game on. Right. It's just one of those things that kind of builds in your vernacular because I think a lot of us saw this movie at that age. As weird as that sounds.
Well, especially us Gen Xers.
Yeah. I like kids that were like in 12, 13 years old probably saw this movie because of its rental release. And I don't know the numbers. I don't know if we're even going to talk about it, but it's funny too, because a lot of the movies we talk about, I didn't get that like rental experience with, but I distinctly remember this one. Yeah. Being that brown box and showing up and being that rental.
Yeah. And that's the thing, it had, I don't know.
It was a Friday night rental.
Oh yeah. Yeah. But it had like a $3.5 million budget and it ended up making 60 million, which at the time in 86 was a pretty good fucking amount of money. So obviously it was a huge success at the gate. Critical success, didn't actually win a lot of awards. So I'm sitting here thinking like, okay, it probably won a couple of Oscars and all that. Not really. It was nominated for like best adapted screenplay. It was nominated for best picture at the Golden Globes, but didn't really win anything.
Right.
which is kind of a shame because if you go back in retrospect, I'm sure they probably would have picked it over whatever fuckery they picked that year.
What did they pick in '86?
Yep. Well, it would have been
Hey, Jamie, bring that up.
it would have been the Oscars of '87. So
1987 Oscars.
that's yeah. I'd be really curious to hear what did win Best Picture for that year because
So,
it wasn't actually even nominated for the Best Picture at the Oscars. It was only nominated at the Golden Globes.
okay, so it wasn't nominated for an Oscar.
Not for Best Movie.
Okay, so memorable moments. Don't give a shit. Actor in a leading role. Paul Newman. Color of Money.
Really?
Yeah,
The fucking pool movie with Tom Cruise?
apparently. Actor in a supporting role. Michael Caine for Hannah and Her Sisters.
I have no idea what that is.
You're better off. The nominees. All right, so interesting. Again, we're sidebarring about movies though.
Right.
So it's kind of on topic, but not really.
Yeah.
Michael Caine won for Hannah and Her Sisters. The nominees were Tom Berenger and Willem Dafoe, both from Platoon. Which
Okay.
I don't know. This is probably one of those instances where Platoon probably wasn't far enough away from Vietnam to still like not have the sting to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, Dennis Hopper was nominated for Hoosiers.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Actress in the leading role, Marlee Matlin,
Oh, the deaf girl.
Children of a Lesser God.
Yeah.
And
She's actually really hot
the
too.
nominees were Jane Fonda. Fuck that bitch.
Yeah.
Sissy Spacek, Kathleen Turner for Peggy Sue Got Married. That got nominated?
Yo, Peggy Sue Got Married. I love that movie.
Yeah. But actress in
Fucking-
the leading role, like nomination?
Yeah, that's a bit of a stretch.
And Sigourney Weaver for Aliens.
Aliens.
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
I can see that.
actress in
Like-
a supporting role, Diane West for Hannah and Sisters, blah, 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 blah.
Well, what are the best movies? That's what I want to hear.
I'm getting there. God damn it. Cinematography, The Mission, don't even know. Costume design, Room with a View.
Apparently, we're just going to hear the
Whatever.
entire list of nominees
I have
for
to
every
s-
fucking category.
I have to scroll and read, god damn it. Directing, Oliver Stone won for Platoon.
This is why we need a producer here.
Film editing, Platoon. Foreign language film was The Assault from the Netherlands.
Who cares? Why do you you don't have to
I
say
haven't
it.
gotten there yet.
You don't have to say it. You can just scroll past it. You
know
don't
what?
have to actually say
Jason,
it.
don't tell me what to do. Music, original song. You'll like this. Top Gun, Take My Breath Away.
Yes. Well, see, I thought you were going to say fucking Danger Zone. Highway to
Best
the
Picture
Danger Zone.
was Platoon.
All right, I get it.
Yeah. Yep.
What
Well,
were
I
the?
guess-
Did it say the other nominees?
Children of a Lesser God, Hannah and Her Sisters, The Mission, and Room with a View.
I heard of Children of a Lesser God, never seen it, and I've never even heard of the other movies.
Yeah.
And really, fucking Stand By Me can't be in that fucking list. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Because nobody, to this day, nobody's talking about any of those fucking movies. People aren't even talking about fucking Platoon, but people will still talk about fucking Stand By Me.
Sure.
So, of all of those movies that you just talked about, Stand By Me probably lasts the test of time, except for Top Gun,
Yeah.
more than any of the fucking movies you just talked about. So,
yeah. No, I don't disagree. Did it win a Golden Globe?
it won something, but
Do you want me to open?
no, God, no! Please, for the love of God, don't do that.
You can look this up. I mean, we have the technology.
Yeah, we do. So we've kind of skipped past the fact that this was directed by Rob Reiner
Right.
of Spinal Tap and Princess Bride fame.
But I
Frame.
got 11.
Why not just make 10 louder, and then 10 would be the loudest? But these go to 11. Oh God, we got to talk about Spinal Tap.
That would be a great movie. Dude.
Oh my God, that's.
Just for an excuse to watch it again. Lunar Girl, you writing all this down?
Yeah, I know. Right?
The ideas are coming out. We'll be brain dead fucking later on, but we got it right now.
Yeah, so let's talk about the fucking cast of this movie. Oh, I closed all the fucking tabs, didn't I?
Why did you do that, Jason?
Oh no, wait, I didn't. I just for some reason opened up a separate window because
Hooray!
all right. I mean, the cast of this fucking movie and where they were in their careers is fucking phenomenal.
Mm.
There's so much to go through. First of all,
I had this open.
like you watched it recently, right?
Mhm.
Like you rewatched it?
Yeah.
Because Kristen and I watched it last night, which by the way, we're going to get into. This was the first time she had ever seen it in her
Right.
life.
Yep.
Were you surprised to see John Cusack as the older brother, like the dead brother?
Yeah, I didn't know. I didn't remember him being in this.
Me
at all.
either. Me either. And
At
when
all.
he came on screen, we were already inundated with like all these fucking characters and shit being thrown
Right.
at us. Then all of a sudden it's like fucking boom, John Cusack as well. I'm like, fuck. I totally like I don't know if I knew who John Cusack was when this had been released. Now he had been in Better Off Dead, which I hadn't seen until way later in life. He also had a very bit part in 16 Candles.
I want my $2.
Right. But he had a bit part in 16 Candles, so I didn't really know who he was at the time when I saw this.
Right.
Obviously, he went on to do so much after this.
Right.
But, this was still one of his earlier movies, was Stand By Me. So, like, I was, like, completely shocked when I saw him as the older brother. I'm like, fuck, I did not remember that at all.
Who Wheaton?
Well, yeah, and then you talk about Will Wheaton, right?
Will Wheaton.
Because he, like, I thought, okay, this had to have been, like, one of his first roles ever. He had done a shitload of TV before this. He did a voice, which I didn't know this until today when I looked this up, in The Secret of Nim. Did you ever see that movie?
Oh, yeah.
Again, you talk about disturbing fucking movies that they apparently marketed to kids.
Yeah.
This fucking 1982 animated movie.
I had that movie. Oh, yeah, it was. There was some fucking... There's some dark shit in there.
Yes.
And I had the book. It was one of... I remember I had this for Secret and Nim, by the way. Like, for those of you who are paying attention, sidebar. But... I had the it was like the movie picture book that had like some of the plates from the animation.
Yeah.
So it was telling the whole story, but you had these like super detailed pictures from it. It was a beautiful book. I had it for years. I think I lost it in a move. But it was a really cool and I remember being older and reading back through that and kind of having that same impact. No, I had no idea Will Wheaton was in it.
Yeah, no, me either until today. He did the voice of Martin, apparently. And that was his first like major movie release role, was doing that voice in The Secret of Nim in 1982, which next year will be the 40th anniversary of Secret of Nim.
Fucking hell.
We may have to
yeah, we should. I haven't seen that in a minute.
Yeah, same here. And again, you talk about fucking dark and disturbing for an animated movie marketed at fucking kids.
And it's something that was animated in a really different style than we were used to seeing at that time. Too.
Yeah, far cry from what they were doing with Disney and everything else.
Whereas Disney was popping off with a lot of color and everything else. So Secret and Nymph, I remember from the pictures, there was only a few times where color was really relevant to make it stand out for a particular character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he did a bunch of TV. He did The Secret of Nim. He was actually a character in The Last Starfighter, which, from what I understand, they're making a sequel to The Last Starfighter that's supposed to come out like next year. Like, have you heard this?
Yeah, I think we actually mentioned it at one point in the show.
And I mean, it seems more relevant now than even back then, quite frankly.
I guess. I just finished listening to Armada, right, which is an Ernest Cline book, the guy who did Ready Player One. Mm-hmm. I wasn't a fan. It was okay, but It was one of those. They wrote this to be made into a movie type deals,
right?
There's a lot of Last Starfighter references and shit like that. If you've read Armada, I don't know. I'm anti. Don't remake shit from our childhood and make it garbage.
Well, yeah, which we've had.
Plenty
more than our fair share of that.
Yeah,
shit.
we've got way more. Like, they're batting under the fucking.
In fact,
right now.
Rewind about a week to our last episode when we talked about, I don't know, with some Masters of the Universe shit,
some fucking Kevin Smith bullshit.
Though, unless you listen to the Escape Pod, because they fucking sucked Kevin Smith's dick for like 2.5 hours.
I think they sucked it enough to try and like they want Kevin Smith to come on their show. Which if that's the case, good on them. Because I know Kevin Smith's like really like, if you don't like this,
right?
Then you don't like me. Fuck you, dude. Take some.
But we love the Escape Pod. Go listen to those guys.
Yeah, Escape Pod's fine.
They're a great compliment to us, right?
Because we're we're usually negative.
Yeah, and they're very positive.
Yes.
We say fuck The Last Jedi, fuck Masters of the Universe Revelations, and they're like, no, they're pretty good.
I don't know. I think they still shit on The Last Jedi.
Not Don.
You know what? They don't shit
Don
on much.
is the one who showed up with fucking 12 pages of fucking notes to defend The Last Jedi.
This is
so
true. This is true.
But anyway,
Mr. angry at the universe.
We digress. But then we're still talking about Will Wheaton. Did a shitload of TV, but also did The Secret of Nim, Last Starfighter, and then Stand By Me. And then, of course, all the shit that he did after that.
And he's also done this book, Armada, and Ready Player One for the audiobook. He does the read.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So
bringing it together, because that's what we do.
Yeah. So Kiefer Sutherland had done a bunch of TV up to this, and I wouldn't even say a bunch, like a handful of TV. He did Amazing Stories. Do you remember Amazing Stories?
I do.
Oh man, that's another thing. Like I haven't seen that shit in fucking 30 years. Yeah, but I still have very vivid memories of a lot of the Amazing Stories. But Stand By Me was his first major film debut, and then he did The Lost Boys like the next year. And it was fucking to the moon after that.
You know what the problem with Kiefer Sutherland is? Kiefer, or whatever the fuck his name is.
Yeah.
Stupid first name. This movie, like I just saw him as such a prick.
Oh yeah.
That I couldn't watch him in anything else.
Oh really?
Like, literally, like when 24 was super popular, people were watching that show.
I loved the first 3 seasons of 24.
This dude, I can't stand this dude.
And normally I would kind of criticize that, but I've been the same way with certain people. You know, William H. Macy.
Mm-hmm.
Fargo. I hated his character so much in Fargo. I couldn't watch him in anything for years because I hated his character so much in that fucking movie.
I can see that.
But it took me a long time to realize, like, no, he's just a really good fucking actor to make me feel that way.
Yes.
So it's like, okay, he's forgiven now.
Yeah.
But it took me a long time to get to that point.
Dude, and an actor that probably... Fuck, I missed. An actor that does it kind of the same thing is fuck, I can't think of his name now. It was there. And
what was he in?
Oh, what wasn't he in? He was in fucking he was in Spider-Man. He was the Green Goblin.
Willem Dafoe?
Willem Dafoe.
Oh, I love that guy.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of roles where you just like, fuck, dude, fuck this guy. Like, why do I hate this guy so much? Oh, it's like, because he did a really good fucking job of portraying the character so that you fucking don't like it.
I mean, I'll never forget his role in the Boondock Saints.
Oh, yeah. That's
especially dressing up in the drag at the end. Like, that'll be burned into my brain for the rest of my fucking life.
Yep. Didn't Escape Pod do Boondock Saints? Fuckers.
Probably.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they steal everything.
They do.
So
they steal our stuff. Steal our social media director.
Oh yeah, we got to talk about that too. But anyway, we digress. So Kiefer Sutherland, like this was the start of his fucking career because he did this movie, did fucking Lost Boys the next year, did Young Guns the year after that. So he was like, this was right at the start of his fucking movie career. We had Jerry O'Connell. This was his first movie role ever, which a lot of people, me included, I forgot this was him, that he was the same guy that was like the #1 draft pick from fucking Jerry Maguire, right? He was that guy, and then he went on to play in like Scream 2 and a couple other big things where you forget that he was that fat kid from
because you have to really look at his face to like really like, okay, I see it, but it's still hard to believe,
right? But this was his very first acting role, period. Movie, TV, any of that.
Digging holes underneath the fucking deck.
Yeah. Corey Feldman. So I'm sitting here thinking like, okay, this was probably one of Corey Feldman's earlier roles too. No, he was ingrained in the fucking Hollywood system since fucking 1978. And he had been doing fucking movies and TV.
Why he's so fucked up.
Oh yeah. And you listen to him do interviews and stuff, and he talks about how fucked up Hollywood is and how they corrupt kids at a very young age. And
he's not wrong. No,
you fucking look at Drew Barrymore. Kristen and I were having a conversation about her last night.
Yeah.
And the fucked up shit she did. It's like she was, talking about how she was snorting fucking coke at like 10 years old or some shit. So yeah, Hollywood really fucks up kids. At least they did back in the 80s.
Oh, I'm sure they still do.
Yeah. But Corey Feldman, he had done a ton of shit. Then he did one of the Friday the 13th movies in 84. He did Gremlins in 84. He did Goonies in 85, which we need to talk about the Goonies at some point. And then he did Stand By Me the next year in 86. So Corey Feldman was already deeply ingrained in the Hollywood system.
Yeah, especially like Gremlins is one of those movies that as a kid I latched onto.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then we had River Phoenix, which, you know, he had done some TV, and this was one of his big movie roles, which, I mean, I'm going to say it right now, like he was the best part of this whole fucking movie. His character to me.
Well, and I think it was meant to be that way.
Yeah.
I think it really was.
Because even though it was based around, you know, Will Wheaton's character and / Richard Dreyfuss,
right,
which, you know, that was kind of surprising to see him at the beginning of this.
Yeah.
Like River Phoenix's character was the true heart of this whole fucking story.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, and we'll talk about that more as we go along. The only other specific actor that I wanted to talk about was this actor, Bradley Gregg, who was Kiefer Sutherland's like main crony in that whole fucking group. As we're watching this, I'm like, I fucking know that guy. Okay. Where do I fucking know that guy from? And the entire time we're watching this fucking movie, I'm like, I know that guy's face. I've seen him in something that I, you know him really well from. I look at his IMDb. I'm like, oh, there it is. Nightmare on Elm Street 3. I know you're not a horror movie guy.
Right.
But Nightmare on Elm Street 3, more than any of the other Nightmare on Elm Street series, is the one movie that I've seen more than any of those. It's one of those ones, you know, it came on the movie channel. We recorded it on our fucking Betamax, and I had it on a fucking recorded Betamax tape for fucking years, seen it 100 goddamn times. He was the kid Philip in Nightmare on Elm Street 3. For those of you who have actually seen it, he's the one that Freddy takes his fucking arteries out of his fucking arms, and he's like working him like a puppet with his fucking arteries, and then like throws him off the side of a building.
And you wonder why I don't watch fucking horror movies. When did that come out?
Nightmare on Elm Street 3 came out in 87, and I probably saw it 6 to 9 months later.
So 87.
Yeah, so I was 11, 12 years old.
Yeah.
Again, another one of the reasons why Jason is so fucked up.
Jesus Christ, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I had something to say, but it's fucking. I had a sidebar prepped, but now it's gone after that.
All right, so that's the whole thing with the actor. Sorry for making it a little long-winded. Kathleen Martin in the chat is like words, lots of words. So.
Oh well, she says words,
right? So before we start getting into some of the more detailed aspects of this movie, I noticed it was rated R. So there was one point about halfway through the movie where we're watching it and somebody says fuck. I'm like, ooh, that's the first time I've heard fuck in the whole movie. I'm like, oh, I bet this is PG-13 because PG-13, you're allowed one fuck.
Right.
Fuck. Yeah.
Even in the future, nothing works.
Yeah, exactly. But no, it was rated R because in 1986, PG-13 wasn't a thing yet. So you were either PG or you were R. And this movie fell into the R because of the, you know, the more adult themes and everything and the language. But in the reality is, if this had been made 10 years or more later, it would have been PG-13.
Right.
By far. Because, you know, there's no nudity. There's one fuck. Not a lot of blood and gore. You see the dead body, but it's even done in a way where it's not like super gory or anything.
Yeah. And honestly, watching it now, it's an unrealistic dead body for as long as it had been there.
Yeah.
But that's.
Yeah, I was kind of nitpicking that myself a little bit, but as a kid watching, I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, there'd be a lot. You know what? Anyway.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no, this movie was rated R back then. So I kind of wonder if that had something to do with the fact that maybe it could have made even more money, or maybe it has something to do with its award nominations. I don't know, but yeah, rated R.
Huh.
Which again seems pretty tame by today's standards.
Yeah, it does. This is not an R movie.
No.
Even by those standards, it wasn't an R movie, but whatever.
I mean, we saw Kate Winslet's tits for a long time in Titanic, and that was PG-13. So
that was 99.
99? No, 98.
It was a different time, Jason.
It apparently was a very different time. So
was it 98? Really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was.
I don't think so.
All right, we're looking it up. We're talking about Titanic. This has been the episode of sidebars, and this is why we're called the Sidebar Cantina, folks.
Titanic, 1997. It came out.
Okay, but it was like December of '97. I bet it made most of its money in 1998.
I mean, probably. But
Give me a release date.
hang on.
Tell me what day it was released.
I got to read through all this other stuff first. Would you like me to read it out loud?
No, not at all.
Release date, December 19th, 1997.
Boom.
It made all of its money in December of 1997. It says it right here.
Fuck you fucking liar.
Let me edit this Wikipedia page.
Yeah. So
Anyway.
And I mean, we can kind of break down the movie at this point.
Sure.
I mean, okay, so rewatching it this time, like do you have anything that stuck out to you? Anything that you remembered from watching it back in fucking 87?
So the big things were the things that kind of like came back to me as I was watching it. One was the like kind of the adventuring into the woods.
Yeah.
Right. This idea like going into you have your tree fort and you fucking make this plan and you fucking go out and go hiking into the woods. We've talked about this before. Like I lived on the edge of the woods. We would go out into the fucking woods all the time and, build forts and fucking run around and do shit in the creek and do whatever. Like we had access to all that.
Yeah.
You go into the woods and you disappear and you just had to be home before the fucking streetlights came on.
Mm-hmm.
So that idea of like kind of the adventure, I remember that being wanting the like, hey, just following the railroad tracks to wherever they go.
Yeah.
I kind of had that because there's a period of time like when they're kind of walking and Will Wheaton comes down and he feels something and he reaches down and touches the fucking railroad tracks.
All right, when they're on the bridge.
Right. And he can feel the vibrations, then you see the smoke and he's like, oh my God,
yeah.
run, fat boy, run.
Right.
That train thing, like I know I've said that 100 fucking times. It's like what replays in my head. And quite frankly, it reminded me that that's where that came from.
Yeah.
Seeing it this time.
For me, you kind of talk about some of that stuff. The big thing that stuck out about me this time, and I'm sure it really resonated with me back then too, was just that relationship between the four main characters, right? 1 minute they're fucking busting each other's balls, they're doing the fucking two for flinching,
right?
They're just cutting each other up, as you do when you're a fucking teenage kid. You bust your friends' balls all the time, but at the end of the day, they're also there for each other.
Right.
When they had these fucking emotional moments, one of the more telling moments was when they went through the junkyard and fucking the dude's like talking about Corey Feldman's dad, how he's a fucking psycho. And it's like, oh, my fucking dad was on the beaches. He stormed the fucking beaches of Normandy.
Right.
And, he's like a fucking just like mess at that point, and they're consoling him afterwards. So,
yeah, because it gives you that insight into why his character is the way he is, why he's like so flippant all the time, is because he has this huge chip on his shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you right that specifically that was kind of I didn't have that. Like I had there was a group of kids and we all played together, but I was on mostly the receiving end of a lot of fucking bullying during those times. So I didn't have that like strong, like I didn't have a group of kids that like I would have had that relationship with.
Really?
Yeah. Not in that sense. Like when we went in the woods and played and stuff like that, we didn't have this like core group like that.
Huh.
So a movie like this was something like, oh wow, people have these relationships. And I didn't. I never had that relationship.
See, that's weird because, starting about the age that these kids were, starting in junior high, I did have that. I had this core group of about 6 of us that, we really kind of stuck together, really took care of each other. But, we were obviously huge fucking nerds, got bullied ourselves.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we kind of stuck together. And we had some people kind of come and go. And I think it was really telling, too, where we get to the end of the movie, skipping ahead. Richard Dreyfuss is doing the narration and he's talking about, we didn't really see them much after this. We'd see him in the halls and passing, and then you kind of hear about him years later. We had people that came in and out of our circle that would be the same way. It'd be we fucking got to a point where we just see him randomly in the hallways at school.
Yeah, my circle didn't get made until like my sophomore year of high school.
Oh, okay.
And by then, adventuring into the woods wasn't really a thing.
And I don't know if that has anything to do with like where we came from, because Bakersfield, California, where I came from, it was a fairly small town.
Right.
And I wonder if that was kind of part of it. Nothing like in this movie where it's like you get some real small town vibes where fucking everybody knows everybody. And that's a big driving factor.
I'm never going to leave this town, am I? Like, making that type of comment.
Yeah. Or even
we lived on a dead end. Like the kids that were around were the kids that were around. I mean,
right.
I just happened to be the fucking most awkward and nerdy of them. And I was the one that got a lot of the abuse. Just happened to be the way it was.
Yeah.
Because I was little. I wasn't very athletic. It took years for me to catch up to everybody else and do that stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, like all the way up through, especially this age bracket. Yeah, I didn't have that.
No shit.
Most of the adventuring was done by myself. So
damn. No, that's I'm kind of surprised to hear that, honestly. We're getting a little insight into the life of Dave, but for me, a lot of this resonated obviously because of that camaraderie that the group of kids had, because on one hand, again, they bust their balls, which me and my friends did, like constantly trying to find new ways to fucking insult each other. And, they had the whole mom thing where it's like, the better insult you can come up with for your friend's mom, the more clout you get or whatever.
Yeah. Mom jokes were fucking big. They were big when we were younger.
Oh yeah.
And they're still big. I mean, let's face it.
Yep.
Like your mom.
Yep. But then at the end of the day,
you missed it. I threw it up there, which I know I know Jason's mom. I know you listen to the show, you watch the show. I know that's not you at all. I just put it out there for purposes of jokes.
Sidebar. Speaking of you and my mother, so she sent me a text.
Okay.
She sent me a text last week, and she's like, "I want to go crabbing." Because she heard you talking about you and Kathy going crabbing. She's like, tell Dave that I want him to take me crabbing. Ask him when like the prime crabbing season is. Ask him if I come down next summer or whatever, if he'll take us to do some crabbing and all that.
Like
so
Kathy and I we'll take you guys down there.
Yeah.
We'll bring my father-in-law and we'll do it up. It's fun. It's so much fun.
Well, so she asked me this. I'm like, oh yeah. No, I'll talk to him. Like 3 or 4 days later, she texts me, "Did you talk to Dave yet?" I'm like, "No, I haven't seen him yet." So she's really intent on doing this crabbing.
Yeah, man. Tell her it's summertime. It's a summertime.
Summertime.
Really?
Okay. Yes, really. All right. Before we continue and knock out the rest of this main topic, I think we do need to take one more quick break.
Okay. Yes.
And be right back after this word from our sponsors.
Free snaps. Those are free. Yeah, we'll bring your dad. It'll be fun. Yeah. Swedes talk about how Lunar Girls are so great. Yeah, it's really funny. The thinking back to how our neighborhood was, and we had a lot. We would play together for a lot of stuff. And as I got older, and probably I don't know, like 8th grade, freshman year, started to like have enough athletic ability to like play football with everybody and do shit like that. But before that, nah, there was a couple of other nerds, but nothing you would have like a relationship like this with. And yeah, it's watching a movie like this and seeing that, like having that type of bond, you kind of always wanted that. So yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting to like a movie like this will kind of bring some stuff back like that. Yeah, fun stuff. Being the brunt of a lot of fucking bullshit. I'm gonna pee as well since we're doing.
Make the sacrifice.
Fucking garage wall is the sacrifice.
All right, let me quickly catch up on the chat. Kathy had a pet rock. Okay. Don grew up in a trailer park. We would camp in other people's yard. Yeah, no, I totally see that. I know a lot of people that did that. Scott's going off about Titanic box office numbers. Oh, work is going to be fun tomorrow. But the beauty is when you don't give a fuck anymore, it makes work a lot easier. Rural adventuring. Yeah, very strong there. Yeah, I'm sure Dragon Buddy and Luna Girl, they fucking really relate to the whole fucking small town vibe.
And Swede.
Yeah.
Don is
He's not drinking?
next month.
Oh, are we doing a sober October kind of deal?
It's August. So that would be
That's
weird.
why I said kind of deal.
Okay. I only drink when I'm on the show. So that's good enough for me.
That used to be the case with me, and then I hurt my fucking shoulder, and then it's just like, whatever, I don't care. All right, we ready?
Yeah, we need a 30.
Yeah, do it.
Stand by. And
And we're back again. So, talking some more about Stand By Me.
every show is a 2-break show these days.
Yeah.
Is that because we're old? Because we were drinking.
I think it's more related to the not giving a fuck drinking. While you were outside, I was basically mentioning how, I got to work tomorrow, and quite frankly, I don't give a shit. And it really helps when you don't give a shit.
Yeah.
So if I show up hungover, okay, what are you gonna do? You're gonna fire me? Really? Spoiler alert, they're not gonna fire me. So anyway, getting back to the movie. So we kind of touched on this a little bit, and I kind of want to have this conversation. We talked about the parents of all the kids in this movie.
Yeah.
And how pretty much every adult in this movie was pretty fucked up. This was one of the big comments Kristen had, because Kristen and I watched this last night. First time she had ever seen it in her life. She had never seen it before, so I was really curious to get her perspective on this. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that she had to say was the adults were really shitty in this movie. And I agree. After watching, I'm like, fuck, they were all bad. You talk about Will Wheaton's parents. The mom is a fucking catatonic, basically. The dad's like, oh, it should have been you that died instead of the older brother.
Right.
You had the fucking junkyard guy who was a fucking piece of shit. And then he was talking about Corey Feldman's dad, who was also apparently psycho. And you think about who these parents were, because this whole story takes place in 1959, right? So these kids are basically the kids of the World War II generation. Mm-hmm. All those people that either went off to war or were at home fucking keeping shit afloat. These are the kids of that generation.
Right.
So I guess essentially they're the baby boomers, right?
Right. They're the boomers.
Right. So, this is really looking at it from their perspective, like how these fucking adults who fucking stormed the beaches of Normandy, how they came back and they had kids, and how they fucking treated those kids afterwards. And again, being a more autobiographical story from Stephen King, you got to imagine it's got to have a lot of truth to it.
Sure.
The way a lot of these adults acted towards the kids.
Yeah. And we're getting this amplified view from it's just a kid's point of view movie. Right?
And and that's a big thing too, because that was actually brought up when they were going through the junkyard, and you had the whole story with the dog and fucking sick balls and all that, where it was really just like a fucking golden lab or something. Yeah. And when he got to the fence, it just laid down and relaxed in the sun. You know, it wasn't this big intimidating fucking killer dog.
But you tell these stories that are like famously the fucking puking story.
Right.
Pie eating contest. Everything is fucking amplified. So you can imagine that being the child of a fucking the greatest generation, having to live up to those standards is probably a big fucking thing. Mm-hmm. And a big part of what made that generation the way it is. And I think that they probably set this movie in that time frame because it was easier to I don't know, it was easier to have these type of moments, like with even circa in 1987. You think if you find a body, like how it's going to be reported and how, boosting cars and shit like that. The way they're talking.
Yeah.
I think it lends itself to a more simpler time.
Yeah.
Than even in the mid 80s, where you would have like a very different response, I think, to how that was going to be, and especially to think of how your parents would have been like, or your mom would have been.
Well,
like,
and that's the thing, because I was thinking about this from the perspective of my parents. Like, where were my parents in their lives when this supposedly took place? My mom was born in 59 and my dad was born in like 55 or something like that. So they were, that was not their generation either. So they were kind of this weird in between generation.
Right.
So, I really don't know. I would imagine it probably was pretty hard for these boomers who grew up as the kids of that greatest generation. It was probably pretty shitty, honestly.
Yeah. Or it was a time where discipline and how you, it was just a different time. And I honestly, I think that's something to be expounded on probably a different show.
Sure.
But the reality is that the expectations levered against somebody's kid of that generation is going to be a lot different. And then the attempt, as every kid tries to live up to that person's expectations and fails miserably, because that's how the expectations are. Right. Yeah, it had to have been, it lent itself to this level of rebellion.
Yeah.
That, how do you rebel? Like, oh, well, you're going to steal cars, or you're going to, fucking get in trouble at school and get 2 days off and steal milk money and shit like that.
Right. Well, and then, you throw in the whole small town factor where he mentioned like there were a town of like 1,000 people in Oregon where
everyone knows everyone else's business.
Exactly. So, and you see that a lot throughout this, where, first you talk about Will Wheaton's character and his older brother. Like, everybody knows him because of his older brother, right? His older brother was this fucking, star quarterback for the local high school,
right?
And who died prematurely. And now everybody knows Will Wheaton because of his fucking brother, and they mention that at every fucking turn.
Yeah.
Then you talk about River Phoenix's character. Everybody knows him because he comes from apparently like a scumbag family where, obviously you're the kid that stole the fucking milk money. Right. And
this is the kid that rolls up shit in his fucking shirt sleeves, to act like he's older than he is.
Yeah.
Because he has this reputation to maintain.
Mm-hmm. And that's a thing that kind of weighs on him mentally throughout the whole course of this movie. It's like you said, how am I going to ever get out of this fucking town? I'm never going to leave here, right? Because I'm a scumbag, my family's a scumbag, everybody looks at us as scumbags. So what's the fucking point?
And you get this idea too, like within the movie, spoiler alert, within the movie, that you when he's having this moment with Will Wheaton, and it's like, okay, what if I tried to give the money back? And what if this happened? And what if that happened? Kind of like, hey, this is the persona that I have to play because of my parentage and, my brother and everything else. But in reality, like, this is why I'm still a decent person.
Mm-hmm.
And, it kind of exposes that with Will Wheaton and his dumb face, which, I mean, I'm not going to lie. I had the same dumb face when I was that fucking age.
Oh, I'm sure I did too. So, talking about Kristen and her reaction, because I really wanted to see what the female reaction to this was, because quite frankly, there's a lot of testosterone in this movie. We have one female character in this whole 90 minutes, and that's Will Wheaton's mother, who's fucking catatonic in the like minute and a half that we see her.
Right.
So, for us as, teenage boys, when this movie came out, obviously resonated with us. We related to it a lot. I was really curious.
Tidy whities and leeches. Yeah.
I was really curious how a female would see this. And so I kind of asked Kristen about it after we watched the movie last night. And she said, it doesn't even really matter. And she made an interesting point that we can talk about it at a later time. She's like, growing up in the 80s, it's always about the boys. It's always movies and TV shows and everything else about boys. Right. You never really get to see that much about girls. I'm like, yeah, it's a fair point.
Yeah,
whatever,
it's fair.
Whatever, so she's probably making a lot of sense, but she's like, so gender really is never an issue when she's watching movies or anything. And she said, it was a great movie overall. She said she really, really enjoyed it. She sees why it was so beloved for so many years. And her other comment was the fact that, yeah, the adults in this movie were fucking terrible people. And that could, we don't know. And I'm sure a lot of that's left to interpretation. Is it the exaggeration of the kids in these teenage years, over exaggerating the story of how their parents are treating them? Or is it legit? Like, are their parents all fucked up and treating their kids like shit? Like, you don't really know. And Richard Dreyfuss, like he kind of leaves that open with that whole dog story.
Right.
So I guess you're just kind of left to decide that for yourself.
I think the beauty of it is it's left to the perspective of the viewer.
Yeah. So
as a kid, when you're watching it, that's your perspective. It's like, God, fucking adults suck. And, this is how they are. And this is what I want to do. And I want to have these relationships with friends. And, obviously you don't want to see a dead body if you can help it. But, the body is almost irrelevant at that. The culmination of this, aside from fucking, again, I'm fast forwarding a little bit, but Will Wheaton with the fucking 1911, like, first of all, his skin, like my ass at 11 years old could never fucking fire a 1911. There's
it'd break my fucking wrist. Like with the kickback from that thing,
himself in the fucking face with that thing. Yeah. Especially if you try to like shoot it in the air, which they do off screen, obviously. But he's standing there with a fucking 45 caliber gun, and that whole sequence is actually pretty good, I think. With fucking douchebag Sullivan. But the idea that at 11 years old you'd be able to fucking hold a 45 and let alone shoot it is pretty fucking remarkable.
Yeah. Are we both distracted by the fucking
Discord? We just
the Discord chat that just came across the wire?
Oh, I just saw Chopper's sick balls. No, I didn't see the Discord. What's the Discord? Hang on.
Yeah, no, it's like as soon as you like got kind of distracted, somebody on Discord just mentioned something in one of the chats.
I can't see it.
Yeah,
why can't I see it?
But anyway,
all I see is the giant fucking tent vagina. Where? What the fuck?
And this is the kind of things that you'll see if you go into our Discord
in the basement.
Can we talk about the soundtrack really quick?
Sure.
So when I was thinking about this movie, the setting 1959, right? So we're on the verge of the 60s and all the crazy fucking music that we hear in the 60s. I guess my thought when I think about like 60s music, I think of like Woodstock. I think of everything that comes like towards the end of the decade.
Right.
And when I'm hearing this soundtrack to this movie, it's a lot of songs from the mid 50s,
right?
55, 56, 54. The doo-wop stuff, the lollipop and the Buddy Holly and all that. I'm like, really? This is what was big in 1959? And I guess it makes sense. But God, that music is so fucking just.
See, I didn't have a problem with the music. If anything, for me, the music as a kid in 1990 and 91, I was listening to the oldie stations, and this is what they were playing.
Really?
The oldie stations.
Okay.
Yeah. So like going down the shore, the oldie, I think I mentioned this before, but going down the shore, one of the only stations that still came in was the oldie station.
Right.
So you would listen to the oldie station on the entire drive, and you could make it all the way to the fucking bridge before you go onto the island.
Yeah.
And have the same oldie station. So we listened to the oldie stuff and like the Drifters and Buddy Holly and the early Beach Boys stuff.
Yeah.
Like totally, like for me, it put me in that mindset of the time frame. Because otherwise I think it would have been too easy to fucking try and move down the timeline faster.
All right, sidebar. Luna Girl, if you're still listening, put a pin in the Beach Boys Pet Sounds. We got to have a conversation about that fucking album.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, carry on.
Yeah. Anyway, no, that's all I was going to say.
Yeah, no, it's the music was
the music was meant to put you in a mindset of the 50s.
Yes, but I mean, again, thinking that this was 59, for some reason I was thinking like late 60s music, but no, it was more early 50s music in this, which again is probably more appropriate, but to me it kind of fucked with me a little bit. This is what was big back then. The lollipop, oh lollipop, lollipop. Yeah, I'm like, I guess that was what was big. Especially you think again about the small town environment where there are probably a lot more, probably a lot of churchgoers in this group. Why am I looking at that?
55 years ago for Pet Sounds.
Oh, no shit.
55 this year. We need to do Pet Sounds this year.
All right. Luna Girl, remind us
I will
when
bring in. I have Pet Sounds on vinyl.
Do you?
I do.
Oh.
We can talk a lot about Pet Sounds. Pet Sounds is big.
Hoist up the John pieces.
Dude, I don't even want to get started.
All right. All right. No sidebars. So, all right. Besides that, I have a bunch of notes that we can go through.
Sure. What do you have that's relevant?
So, first of all, there were 3 things that I remembered from the time that I watched this movie to now. Like 3 things that stuck in my memory from the very moment that I watched this movie that stayed with me to today. Do you want to take a guess at what those 3 things were?
Leeches.
Leeches was one.
Had to have been one of them.
Okay.
The train.
The train.
What was the third one?
You've already talked about it. You've alluded to it at least once.
Digging holes underneath the
deck.
deck.
No. I completely forgot about that part. You've mentioned it. Come on.
Fuck. The bit with pulling the gun on Kiefer Sutherland?
No.
I don't know.
The lard ass Hogan.
Oh, the
pie eating contest.
Lard ass.
There were 3 things about this movie that from the moment I saw it in fucking 87 to today that I always remembered, that I knew was coming, that I was ready for when, Kristen and I were watching it last night. I remembered it like it was fucking yesterday.
You can't prepare for that mentally.
Which one? The lard ass one?
The lard ass one. Yeah. There's no way.
Like all the puking and everything.
Yeah.
Well, the beauty of this fucking scene. Again, I told you I watched this with my mother. My mother, growing up, had the weakest stomach of anybody I have ever met in my entire life. Anytime anybody would throw up, like even the concept of throwing up, like completely disgusted my mother and would make her throw up.
Oh, I'm a sympathy puker. I'm the same way.
She was, that's her. Like if as kids, if we were ever sick, if I was ever like about to throw up or was throwing up in the fucking toilet, she'd be like, and going to throw up somewhere else in the house.
Yeah.
Like that was my mom. So watching this scene with her.
Throw up is the absolute worst. The absolute worst thing ever. I will look, I am a self-proclaimed imbiber of too much alcohol in my younger days.
Same.
All those years, never. If I threw up from drinking, I may have done it like twice in my entire life.
Oh, I've thrown up more times than I can remember from drinking.
Because I would not. I hate throwing up so much that I will do anything in the fucking world to make sure that I don't throw up. Where throwing up would probably be the best thing for me. Case in point, Chuck, right? Chuck B.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what Brinzer, right? We'd be sharing a fucking bathroom in some fucking dorm somewhere, and
gay.
Yeah, this is how it was back in the day, and he'd be forcing himself to throw up. Because it helps fucking purge the system.
It does,
and I'd have to lay there and listen to this fucking happen. And I'm all I want to do is fucking throw up. I'm like, no, not gonna do it. Like literally, if I'm throwing up, if you ever see me throwing up, that is because I am the sickest I've ever been in my life.
Wow,
I will not throw up.
And
I will literally do anything to stop from throwing up.
And that's so funny because that is my mother. And that was her growing up. She hated throwing up. She hated the concept. But whenever anybody was throwing up around her, she'd be like, oh God. And she'd be, getting sick herself. So when we're watching the fucking lard ass scene, she is fucking losing it. As I'm thinking, this is the funniest shit I've ever seen in my life. She is just ready to hurl all over the place.
So I'm watching it now and looking at this kid drinking fucking castor oil.
Oof.
I'm like, I'm impressed at the entirety of the bottle.
Right.
Like, because castor oil it's supposed to make you throw up. I mean, if you drink it like that, it's going to make you throw up like almost immediately.
And again, you have to remember the context of this. This is Will Wheaton telling a story, right? Because they're sitting around the campfire and they're like, "Hey, tell us a story," because Will Wheaton was known as the guy to make up stories. He was the writer.
Yeah.
Right. So he's like, "Oh, I thought of this new idea," and he went into the fucking lard story. So, but yeah, it was like he drank the castor oil ahead of time. He did the one raw egg.
The one raw egg into his mouth, like, oh my God. Oh my God.
Yeah. And then they're all throwing up blueberry all over each other.
But the scene was done. Like, I'm going to give them a lot of credit for this scene, because while he's doing all this and while Dreyfus is narrating over top of it, they're making the announcements in the background about like, oh, and here's our celebrity, blah, 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 pie eater, blah, blah, blah. And so like it's going through the entire sequence and like getting lard ass to the fucking stage. And then watching it this time, the actual throwing up, like you could tell that it's like coming from the side.
Oh yeah. You could see it. There was probably a hose right there.
I remember it being a lot more like
more pronounced.
Yeah. I remember it like
exaggeration as a teenager, right?
Yeah, in my brain, looking at it probably on a fucking 27-inch television from fucking 12 feet away.
Yeah,
it looked like they were fucking throwing up.
Yeah.
Whereas seeing it today in high def, or as high def it was going to get, like, okay, all right, I see it.
Especially when you get to the crowd, right? When the whole crowd's and they're like, bleh, again, you have this vision in your mind.
The twins threw up on each other.
Yeah, where I have this vision in my mind where everybody's just like projectile vomiting, like all this just massive amount of stuff. It's really not.
Yeah. But in my brain, I was definitely like everyone was throwing up on everybody. Yeah. So it was what's her nuts puked into her purse. It's a great story.
Yeah.
And it's a great interlude, I think, for where you are in the movie, because it's that campfire story type thing, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. And we talked about the train scene where they're going across the bridge, which of course, they built up to it where they're like, well, if the train comes, we're gonna have to like jump into the river or whatever. And they're like, fuck it, we're going. And of course they had to set up Jerry O'Connell like fucking crawling across the tracks.
Dude, have you ever been on a fucking railroad trestle like that?
No.
I've never been on one that high, like as high as they portrayed it, but I've been on those. Like, it's legitimately, there's nothing underneath the fucking railroad tie.
Well, yeah, and as we're watching that scene, I'm telling Kristen, like, I would be so fucking freaked out right now.
So every fucking, when they zoom in on the fucking feet making the footfall, like as they're running, I'm like, no fucking way. Yeah. No way. Because if you're running as hard as you possibly can, there's no way you fucking keep not hit one of those fucking things. That's that's like Olympic hurdling type shit where you can fucking do that.
Yeah.
And I get it, fight or flight, but Jesus Christ, the train was a little hokey.
And I took note of that too.
Yeah.
The effects and everything, it's like, yeah, you can tell this is kind of special effects.
Yeah, you can tell they kind of overlaid it.
But back in the day, in 87, it looked pretty fucking good.
The camera, again, we're watching it in high def, where when we watched it as a rental, it was on a fucking, again, 27-inch TV was pretty
if you were lucky, yeah,
decent size at the time.
Yeah.
On a CRT. So yeah, I mean, I noticed it this time. It was a little hokey.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, if you're sitting there as an adult looking at this, goes like, how did those kids not break their fucking arms or some shit like that when they did go off the side? Dude, when you were 11 years old, you were invincible.
Fucking right.
Invincible. How many times? I can't count how many times I fell off of shit, had shit land on me, jumped off of shit. Like, I should have been broken 6 ways till Sunday, which I guess I kind of, they may have had some aggregate effect into my 40s. But at the time,
I'll give you a great example. My sister had this fucking massive oak dresser in her room. Fucking hard oak. This thing probably weighed fucking 200 pounds plus easy.
Okay.
She had this fucking habit when she was a fucking like barely over a toddler of pulling out the drawers and climbing up on the thing to get to the shit that was on top of the dresser.
Right.
Because it was like, 4.5 feet tall.
Yeah. Back in the day when dressers were heavy enough where they didn't tip over, as opposed to now when you buy it, you fucking anchor it.
But that's the thing. This thing did tip over.
Oh, fuck.
And we'd see her doing this every once in a while. We'd fucking catch it before it ever fell over. There was one instance where the whole fucking thing did fall over on her. She fell back. The thing fell over on her and fucking basically pinned her down. And I can remember as a teenage kid having to run into her room after hearing like this massive crash and having to fucking lift this thing off of her and everything. But she was fine after that.
Yeah.
You know, because again, we were fucking kids and
made like whatever material children are made out of. It's indestructible.
Yeah.
I fell on I was riding my bike and
I got hit by a car and didn't get a single broken bone or anything.
It's facts. I did too.
I had some scrapes.
I didn't even get scrapes.
Yeah.
I fucking slid up on. I had a dream last night. I got hit by a car, by the way.
Really?
Odd. It's fucking weird. No, I got hit by a car walking to fucking school. And I like got off my feet just enough where I slid up the fucking, I went whoop, right up the windshield, kind of onto the roof, and then slid back down to the point where I'm like getting off the hood and standing there looking at these two, they had to have been in their fucking, they looked like they were in 100 years old.
Yeah.
Right. But they're probably in their late 70s, early 80s. But the mortified look on their face for fucking hitting a kid walking to high school my freshman fucking year. Ridiculous. But yeah, we've been hit by cars. I went over, I was on a hill fucking on the bike and went over the fucking handlebars. Right. So I had the fucking 80-pound bike because bikes were made out of steel back then.
Yeah.
Right. I had this bike coming over on top of me and I arched my fucking back to the point where I'm like seeing flashes of light and shit. I'm sliding on my face down this fucking hill and come to rest. And everybody comes around and is like, oh my God, is he dead? Is he dead? And I'm just like, right. And fucking walked away from that shit.
Yeah. Because we were durable back then. And you kind of forget about that as you get older. But as a fucking kid, you were very durable. Another bike story of mine. I went and I bought fucking groceries or something. Like I went to the fucking store and I had to buy a bunch of shit for home. So I'm holding this bag of fucking groceries and I'm riding my bike, completely forgetting that the left hand brake was the front brakes of the bike and the right hand was the rear brakes. For some reason, I'm holding the fucking bag of groceries in my right and my left hand is on the fucking front brake. I come up to something where I have to stop suddenly. Whoop! Left brake, whoop! Front tires, whoop! Just completely fell over.
This is why coaster brake was so much fucking more convenient.
Oh yeah,
for shit like that.
But
especially going to the store.
But again, some scratches, and I fucking went home because that's what you do.
Oh man, yeah, we had so many stories of being indestructible. But same where we started with this
was the train track.
The train, and they go off the side,
right?
And they're like, kind of like, oh my God, and they fucking walked away from that shit because you could do that in those days.
Mm-hmm. So the third thing that really stuck out was the leeches story. It's like holy shit! And again,
did you know what a leech was up until this point?
Never heard of a leech, and to this day, I've never seen a leech in my life. So
I've thought that I've seen leeches, like because as a kid playing in the fucking creek, and I was in Boy Scouts, and we go to camp and all this other shit. Yeah, I thought I would have a leech on me, and it turned out it would just be a fucking slug or some shit like that.
Yeah,
but like since seeing that movie, like leeches suddenly became a thing.
Yes,
it's like quicksand, right? You see like quicksand.
Yes,
it's like oh my God, quicksand is the scariest fucking thing ever. You're never ever going to see quicksand in your life ever. But you're like fucking super aware of it. Leeches was this.
Yeah, absolutely.
It'd be in the creek and coming out like fucking checking down my goddamn, into my fucking tighty whities, my Superman underoos to make sure that I didn't fucking have a leech attached to my dick.
Because of this scene. Because this scene stuck out so much for us.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
How good, again, leeches, right? Just saying it out loud.
Mm-hmm.
How good is Will Wheaton fucking after taking a leech off his dick and just passes out.
Yeah.
Boom. Eyes rolling back his head and he passes out. Like fucking.
Yeah, sounds about right. Yeah.
The Academy Award goes to that guy.
Will Wheaton.
Will Wheaton. Because holy fucking shit if something like that had happened.
Yeah.
Like you had the fucking tick on the end of your dick. This time last year or just before.
No, that you're about right.
Yeah. So no, sorry, can't.
Oh my God! Speaking of which, when I went back to California last month, like people were talking about that fucking story. Like they're like, "Oh, tell the fucking tick story again."
Oh my God! Why did they know that story?
Well, my mom watched the podcast and then she told people. So.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, fucking. I had no idea that a leech was a real thing until then.
Yeah.
Until this movie.
Yeah. And it stuck out so much. 35 years later, I still remember it like it was fucking yesterday.
Were you watching it this time and looking and noticing that each leech they pulled off, there was like a little mark or a little bit of blood? Like, you didn't have to go to that level of detail, especially back in those days, but like they did.
But that was good. That was good movie making.
Yeah, it was.
Now the thing.
Spoiler alert! This is a really good fucking movie.
Yeah.
By the by.
Now the thing that I really focused on was as they were fucking around in the water, right? They're like dunking each other and everything. Right. I'm just like, that's so fucking dirty. Whereas again, if you're a kid at that age, I know I was playing in fucking dirty water like that or dirtier fucking water and not giving a shit. Whereas today I'm just like, ugh.
Oh, dude. Again, growing up in the woods next to a tidal creek that had fucking the muddiest mud you've ever mudded.
Yeah.
And yeah, you would fucking go on this shit like it was nothing. Like you'd have mud in the creases of your fucking ass forever because that shit just would not get out. And you didn't care. You didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
Right. It would rub your raw a little bit, but you fucking, get in there with some, wash your ass with some fucking Zest soap and go on with your life.
Yeah.
Dude, Zest soap.
Zestfully clean.
You're not fully clean
unless you're zestfully clean.
I have an affinity for Irish Spring. And before you talk about the Irish,
fuck the Irish.
We're gonna have to have a conversation about this fuck the Irish bit. It's testing the levels of my patience,
and it's taking on a life of its own, which I really like.
It has, and I'm willing to end that life.
Jeez.
So anyway, yeah, fucking Zest soap. Like, I like Irish Spring, and I have Irish Spring at the house for when I run out of Vickers soap.
Mm-hmm.
And I was trying to think, like, I remember having Irish Spring at my grandparents' house, but never at home. And I'm like, what the fuck kind of soap did I use? Right? This random fucking shower thoughts, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, it's Zest. We had Zest in the fucking house. Can you even buy Zest soap anymore? Is that a real thing?
I don't know if that's a thing.
Was that real soap?
It was. Well, I remember that commercial.
No. I mean, it was a thing, but was it real soap?
Oh, well.
Or was it just a conglomeration of chemicals that you fucking,
I mean,
rubbed into your ass crack?
You could ask that about any fucking bar of soap.
Well, this is factually correct.
Yeah.
No, except for Vickers soap. I know where that comes from.
Yeah, okay.
It's animal fat and fucking some fragrance. And that's it.
Okay.
It's fucking soap.
All right.
Highly recommend it. Vickers, get your shit together. Get some more soap.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay.
What were we talking about?
Leeches. Leeches. So that was the third big thing that really stuck out for
me.
Otherwise, I had just a handful of notes if you want me to go through them.
Yeah, you should. Absolutely. For the sake of thoroughness.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the shit we've already talked about. The shitty parents, the music, the bridge. Right. So the actors, like, I know we talked about them already, but they were all, the proper ages, about 12 to 16 when they filmed this movie. But it was the timeline for these characters was 8th grade going into junior high, which, I went to a junior high, whereas I know now it's all middle school everywhere.
Yeah.
Where it's 6, 7, and 8. But when I went through school, elementary was, K through 8, and then you went to junior high. And then I know when I went into 8th grade, they converted our junior high to a middle school. So I don't know, like, if you had any similar experience.
No, we had a middle school.
You were always middle school?
Yeah, K through 5, and then, I went to a private school up until 1st grade.
Fucking Catholics.
Wasn't Catholic. It was just a private school.
Okay.
Yeah. So again, reasons that were fucked up today. Yeah. So we had basically K through 5, and then 6, 7, 8 was middle school, and then 9 through 12 was high school.
Yeah. So it's so funny.
Junior high.
Yeah, because I went to Standard Elementary and Standard Middle School was the name of the school. I went to Standard Elementary.
It was named Standard.
Yeah. I went to Standard Elementary from kindergarten through fucking 6th grade.
That's really funny.
In 7th grade, I went to Standard Junior High, which was the name of it. And then in 8th grade is when they converted from standard junior high, which was just 7th and 8th, to standard middle school, which was 6, 7, and 8. And it's been that way ever since, obviously.
Okay.
So I was there for I was there.
Yeah.
The night that tiger bit that motherfucker.
Thinking back on it, well, you know what? I don't even want to talk about the school system.
Yeah.
The whole fucking school system is fucked.
Well, yeah. But anyway, it was the whole transition from 8th grade to junior high, basically, was what, like, where these characters were at the time. And again, I fully fucking related because I really remember that time. Oh my God. So there was a scene where, you know, they do the camp out, right? So nighttime comes, they fucking pull out their sleeping bags and everything, and they hear the fucking wolves, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which was very pronounced in this movie.
Right.
Like, if you listen to it, the
wolves
wolves.
Oregon, right? So it made sense.
Yeah, and I mean, for all I know, that could have been fucking true, where the wolves were out in fucking like groves, and it was like, oh, it was fucking loud as shit. And so they decided to keep watch, right? Where River Phoenix took the first fucking watch, and then they moved over to Jerry O'Connell's character doing the next watch. And every fucking like cricket, fucking frog, he's like jerking around with the fucking gun that they stole.
Right.
I laughed out loud last night when I was watching this. And then after watching that scene, I'm like, oh, I do remember seeing that for the first time. Like, me and my mom were cracking up when we saw that scene. But even last night, rewatching that scene as he was fucking keeping watch was the funniest fucking shit.
Yeah.
Really, really good scene.
No, it was good.
Talked about the F-bomb. So there was that scene very, very early on in the movie where Will Wheaton and River Phoenix are they're prepping to go on this fucking adventure, and they bump into Kiefer Sutherland and fucking Artery Guy.
Right.
And they take his fucking his Yankees cap. And I'm like, you motherfuckers, right? Because we know the history because his brother gave him the fucking hat and everything. Yep. And I'm thinking, like, I don't really remember the end, but I'm sure he gets his fucking hat back after they have that confrontation. Because I remember there was a confrontation at the end. Yeah. They never addressed the hat again.
No, they didn't.
He never gets his fucking Yankees cap back. I'm like, that's fucking, even though it's the Yankees and fuck the Yankees.
Yeah, fuck the Yankees.
But like, still, like, it's the fact that his brother gave him that fucking hat and his brother's fucking dead. You would think later on in the movie he gets his fucking hat back. Never hear from it again.
No.
I'm like, wow, that's...
No, we're just going to add that fucking... But we're going to put that coal onto the fire that's going to fucking get lit later.
Yeah, which, you know, again, you know, amplifies that whole fucking teen anger and everything. Dude, there was a fucking scene. I can't remember what it was, but again, this is why the best part of this movie is that dynamic between River Phoenix and Will Wheaton and that relationship that they have where, you know, Will Wheaton's kind of breaking down towards the end. He's like, my fucking dad hates me. You know, it should have been me that died instead of my brother. Right. And River Phoenix is like consoling him. It's like, no, dude, fuck that. You know, he doesn't know you. It was a super powerful scene, really fucking emotional.
Yeah.
And for two, you know, 13/14-year-old kids performing the scene, they did so fucking good.
Yeah.
And it, like, that was kind of the emotional peak of this whole fucking movie was, to me, was that scene where, you know, Will Wheaton's kind of beating himself up and he's like, it should have been me. And
right.
Dude.
Yeah, because
good
like
stuff.
I said, the body, finding the body itself was irrelevant.
Yeah.
It was,
yeah.
You know, Will Wheaton seeing the body and immediately it's not about this kid.
It's about his brother.
It's about his brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, I mean, just fucking powerful, powerful stuff. And we haven't even talked about River Phoenix himself.
No.
You know, and the early death and everything else.
What was funny is I'm listening to Richard Dreyfuss and he's given like the narration at the end talking about how, you know, he went to become a lawyer and got tried to break up a fight, got stabbed in the neck.
Yep.
Jesus Christ. Gets stabbed in the neck and then fucking
pretty much dies
at like 23 or so. Or it was after he become a lawyer and he was young.
Yeah.
And then the idea that this River Phoenix died, I think he was 23, right? When he died.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of the same timing. And I thought about it when I heard it. It was like, oh, wow.
Yeah. A little morbid irony there.
Yeah, it was really ironic that character died young also.
Yeah.
In not in the same way, but
Yeah.
just the idea of that age group.
Which, I mean,
something like that happen.
Yeah, sidebar. I mean, nowadays everybody knows Joaquin Phoenix, his younger brother.
Right.
Right. There's a fucking 911 tape of, Joaquin Phoenix calling fucking 911 as River Phoenix is fucking dying from, overdosing or whatever the fuck it was that, he did outside of a nightclub, and he's fucking hysterical. And, he's just a fucking teenager himself.
Yeah.
So you imagine the fucking trauma that he went through watching his fucking brother die right in front of him, and, calling 911 and everything else. And
still managing to you see something like that, it's like, I'm definitely not going to do what caused this. You know what I mean? Like this industry, the movies and everything else. I want to get far, far away from that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what normal people would do. And Joaquin Phoenix obviously did not do that.
Right.
He, had a successful film career.
Right. But again, he's kind of like done it as a bit of an outlier, doing some more off the wall things.
Sure.
Not being your typical Hollywood actor.
True. He plays that character well.
Yeah. So, and
Although I still haven't seen the Joker movie that he's in.
So good. So good.
I heard there was a lot of mental health things in there that, like, what I was told was that, people with mental health issues, like, maybe shouldn't watch this because there's like some stuff that's like may hit a little closer to home.
I could see it.
So based on that warning, I was like, okay, I'll stay away from that.
Yeah, no, that's legit. I mean,
take an extra Zoloft and fucking just sit there and watch it.
Indeed. Yeah, but we haven't talked about the River Phoenix aspect of this whole thing. He did a handful of movies after this and then was fucking gone. I mean, who knows what would have happened in his career?
Yeah, think about this cadre of youngsters in this movie that what they could have done. Like Corey Feldman, he crazy, but he was also
had
like
to
real
deal
close with them.
Yeah, but he had to deal with the Hollywood demons, like we talked about earlier with Drew Barrymore and everything. You fall into this fucking lifestyle of fucking drugs and corruption and everything. It's gonna fuck you up.
Yeah, Corey Feldman, and I mean, what's his nuts? Not Chris Donnelly. Is it Chris Donnelly? No, it's fucking Chris O'Connell. No.
Jerry O'Connell?
Jerry O'Connell. Fuck.
Yeah, you're thinking Chris O'Connell, who played Robin in Batman and Robin.
Yes, but I'm like, I made a connection there that wasn't there. But yeah, thinking about some of these, and Will Wheaton, obviously, he had a modicum of success too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not huge fucking earth-shattering
success,
but
and I think
pretty successful fucking career.
Yeah, I think his whole career kind of got fucking off track when he did Star Trek: The Next Generation, because everybody fucking hated his character in that.
And like it really, how you say off track, because there's probably some Trekkies out there right now that are going like, no, how dare you disparage fucking.
Well, but that was the thing though. Like, a lot of the hardcore Star Trek fans really fucking hated him, and they kind of drove him off of that fucking show.
What was his name?
Wesley Crusher.
Wesley Crusher. That's
yeah.
Right. Somebody mentioned it in the chat earlier.
Yeah, no, it's and
Wesley was not the most annoying thing in that show.
There was nothing, absolutely nothing annoying about Star Trek: The Next Generation. Period. No. You don't have to say anything. Star Trek: The Next Generation was the greatest thing ever. Period.
Really?
Okay, the greatest show that was in syndication in the late 80s, early 90s. But yes, there was nothing wrong with Star Trek: The Next Generation.
6 Yingling Oktoberfest, and Jason suddenly becomes a Trekkie. Interesting.
Trekkie is derogatory at this point.
If I were you, I'd consider both of them derogatory.
What movie is that from?
I have no idea.
Fanboys.
It's probably from Fanboys. Yeah.
It's Trek. That was Seth Rogen's character. Remember?
Yeah.
Trek-E is derogatory at this point. Han Solo was a bitch.
We should do Fanboys.
It's actually on Amazon Prime right now.
Is it really?
Yeah.
We should do that. Look, I had my Star Trek. I wasn't as invested in it as a lot of people were.
Mm-hmm.
I've said it on the show before. I'm a Star Trek movie guy.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a fan of the movies,
right?
Even the newest ones.
Yep.
I enjoyed the movies. I was not as invested in the syndicated television show as a lot were. And all jokes aside, it really wasn't that bad. There was a lot of bits to Star Trek: The Next Generation, especially, where I liked the realism of it.
Sure, and that's what they were going for.
Yeah, there was like this part of me. I was at the right age where I looked at it and was like, I had a Enterprise blueprint book, like, so it was like a box like this, and it had full out fucking blueprints of the layout for the Enterprise, and I had a model on it or whatever. Closet Jason and I are closet Trekkies apparently, but
on a Star Wars focused podcast.
Yeah, but in reality, like, it never captured me like Star Wars did.
Right.
Insane. Because Star Wars is obviously better.
It is.
But
100%.
At the same time, TNJ is, I mean, Deanna Troi, some of the best tits in the industry. I mean, if we're calling a spade here.
Yeah. I do not disagree whatsoever.
Yeah.
And let's face it, George was not giving us anything at this point.
No.
He
forced us. He forced us to go to the fucking Trek tit.
Yeah. So
because he wasn't giving us anything.
George wasn't giving us anything. Deanna Troi was like, "Here, I got something for you," and we're just like, "Mama."
Blue and black hair. Good grief.
So anyway, Stand By Me.
Well, see, it's relevant because Will Wheaton.
6 degrees of
Will Wheaton.
Kevin Bacon. Yes.
6 degrees of Will Wheaton.
All right. Let's wrap up the whole Stand By Me thing.
Sure.
Watching it this time around.
Okay.
Still a great fucking movie. I mean, I would love to hear a millennial or Gen Z point of view on this movie, but watching it today, I had the same fucking feeling that I had watching it 35 years ago. Honestly, it was so fucking good, so well done. I mean, Rob Reiner, a fucking movie genius at the time.
Yeah. Look,
it was a great fucking movie. Great acting from these fucking teenage actors at the time.
Yeah.
A greatly written script, a well-directed movie.
When I watched it this time, I appreciated stuff that I didn't appreciate when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I had nostalgia. I had those nostalgic moments where I remember like, oh, this made me feel some kind of way as a kid. But at the same time, I was like, I appreciated notes of it that were like, it just made me think this is a really good movie.
Yeah.
It's poignant. And I think a couple of technology things, notwithstanding, like not a bloated enough body and the fucking train.
Yeah.
Because honestly, that body would have been so fucked by the time they got there.
Oh yeah, it had been there for at least a few weeks at that point.
It's just the idea that you'd be able to physically identify. Anyway. Yeah. Anyway.
But that's nitpicking at that point.
Sure. The whole thing's nitpicking. I appreciate it for like. I just at the end of it was like, man, this was a really good fucking movie, and it's a movie that I wouldn't watch ordinarily today.
No,
because
me either.
It's going to make me feel a certain way. Like I don't need, like I'm watching stuff. If I'm watching anything, it's to entertain myself. It's not to like actually feel like get the feels, get that like nostalgia or whatever.
And that's the big difference with movies that are made today. Movies that are made today they're all popcorn movies. Very few movies today make you think or make you feel. It's just how many big explosions can we get on screen and make people like forget about the realities of fucking life.
Yeah, it's I can play Call of Duty for 15 or 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Give me as much destruction and violence as I can get in that 15, 20 minutes, and I'll move on with the rest of my life.
Yeah. Whereas, I mean, this makes you think, again, it makes you think about that dynamic of the friends at the time. And again, I focus so much on Richard Dreyfuss mentioning the friends coming and going and that camaraderie and everything else that happens. It's like, it's real, man. That ultimately it boils down to this shit is more real than most movies you will ever see in your life.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
take that for what it's worth. If you want, a real visceral reaction, a real emotional reaction, this is the kind of movie that you want to watch.
And remember, when we started this, we talked about how Stephen King said this is autobiographical.
Yeah.
Like, I think the reason this resonates so well is because it really happened.
Yeah.
Aside from the fucking, the trekking out into the fucking woods bit, this actually happened. And I think that level of realism shows in this movie.
Yeah.
Richard Dreyfuss, him narrating this movie, The Sandlot is a big movie to me. I love
that. That is another, you throw that in with this, the Goonies, The Sandlot is right fucking there.
Yeah, and Sandlot came out much later.
Yeah, but again, it still resonated with us.
Yeah, it was his narration. I think when I heard it in The Sandlot, it was almost a continuation of it was the perfect voice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was the perfect voice and when you're watching The Sandlot, if you're sitting there and I'm a junior in high school, right? When Sandlot comes out.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, why does this work so well? Because fucking a decade ago, I heard it.
Mm-hmm.
Or not, whatever. So much.
Yeah, not even a decade.
When I was younger, I heard his voice as the narrator for this other movie.
And at that point,
it made it hit that much better.
You're still not that far removed from that fucking age, being that kid kicking around the dirt, just fucking, playing stickball or whatever in the field, or real baseball or whatever.
The Sandlot is such a good fucking movie.
Yeah.
It's not as deep, obviously, as this movie.
No, but it's still really fucking good.
Yeah, it is. That is a great fucking movie. Watch it. Watch this fucking movie. Here's the end of the discussion for Stand By Me. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Watch this fucking movie.
Yeah, and if you haven't, do it. Like if you're listening to us right now and you haven't seen Stand By Me for whatever fucking reason, for fuck's sake, do it.
Even if you're younger than us, watch it, because it's a period piece. It was in the 50s, so it's already you already have to suspend your disbelief for something that you don't understand, right? Those times were different.
Yeah.
But the cadence and the story and everything, it's so real, and it's super, super well done by the actors.
And
fucking watch it.
And we talk about it like these are the baby boomers, right? These kids in this movie are baby boomers. Your millennials and your Gen Zs and everything who love to just fucking shit on boomers and all that. Watch it. Maybe you'll grow a newfound respect for.
No.
Probably not. But I mean,
no. You're not gonna. Let's not fucking go that far. But you really should. This is a must see.
Yeah.
For somebody. Look, if this is somebody that you have kids that age, show it to them.
Yeah.
Like it's a damn okay, it's rated R, whatever. Like damn well that there's probably a Star Wars movie that has more fucking violence in it than this movie.
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right, and Spaceballs, fucking they say fuck at least once. So anyway, like you have a kid that's going through this like transitional period and the friendships they develop and everything else. Like it'll hit.
Yeah.
Anyway,
very powerful movie and really lives up to the hype. 35 years later, it's still as good as it ever was, if not better. It has stood the test of time. So go fucking see it. We need to talk about the Red 5 network, David.
We do. I have to read a thing.
And while he's getting that ready, again, go listen to all of our friends, the friends of the the Sidebar Cantina podcast.
Wow.
The Escape Pod, ATSW presents The Escape Pod. Those guys are the best. Go listen to them. Those are our boys, even though they fucking like to steal topics and steal social media directors and everything else.
But you should still go.
You should still listen to them, even though
because they are part of the Red 5 Network family.
Well, they are, but before they were part of the Red 5 Network, they were part of our.
I'm trying to segue
group.
into the read, and we can get there because there's a Friends of the Pod part of the read. Listen, Lunar Girl puts all this shit together. I'm going to read it.
You do your thing. Read the teleprompter, Dave.
And
while you're reading the teleprompter, I'm just going to do something.
The Red 5 Network family, period. Get to know our Red 5 Network family and their amazing selection of podcasts. Absolutely. You should do that. The Salty Nerd Podcast is your honest take on pop culture, movies, and TV with added salt. Salt because it's salty nerd. Get it? They don't always agree, and it's better that way. It absolutely is. Fucking agreeing's for the fucking nerds. Wait, these all salty. They're salty nerds. Anyway, catch Alex, Matt, Jude, and Kadish and their latest discussion on the Highlander series on YouTube. You mean the Highlander series? Isn't that like so girls can watch guys in kilts get fucked? Isn't that what the Highlander is? Anyway, the Highlander series on YouTube or your favorite podcasting network. For all you gamers, Matt Vader usually has a live stream gaming sesh on Saturdays on YouTube. Matt Vader, that's fucking great. The Chad Vader YouTube stuff is a must watch. You need to go see it because it's great. And as well as Matt Vader on YouTube. Conversations is one part original trilogy and one part prequels trilogy, exploring the Star Wars fandom, hosted by Charles and Pat. Always informative and lots of laughs, especially during their homemade commercials, which that is great. Like that's the best shit. Give a listen. I
pitched it off early because I wasn't sure if you were gonna be able to.
You didn't shit outside, did you? Did you go all the way in the house to shit?
No, I pissed. But why
did you
pitch it off early because I wasn't sure.
For fuck's sake, I'm still reading.
All right, go ahead.
Hosted by Charles and Pat, always informative and lots of laughs, especially during their homemade commercials. Give a listen to their latest on Wedge Antilles on your favorite podcasting app. And hopefully they're getting deep into Wedge Antilles' character, especially with the novelizations, because there's a lot there. To find out more about these podcasts and others, go on the Red 5 Network, or others on the Red 5 Network. Go to red5network.com. And you will do it.
Do it.
Friends of the pod. Enjoy two live use and abuse podcast shows on Tuesday with hosts Scott and Kim. Thank you, Scott and Kim, for being and participating in the chat. Or at least Scott. Kim's actually
Scott
doing research for the show. The Weekend Racing Recap returns on Tuesday morning at 5 a.m. Eastern. Fucking hell. With the NASCAR at Watkins Glen. And IndyCar racing on the streets in Nashville at 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. That will be celebrating the 30th anniversary of Metallica's Black Album.
What the fuck? Everybody just stealing our fucking show topic ideas?
Well, it's kind of like the timing. Like, we're delaying the timing to cover more 1991 stuff, whereas they're being like more spot on. And they started as a music podcast. So
whatever.
I'll give Scott and Kim the benefit of the doubt on that one. If it
all
was
right, they're good people, so I guess I'll.
If it was the escape pod, forget it. It would fucking bust their balls. And
oh yeah, fuck the escape pod.
Join our friends.
Still go listen to them.
Join our friends in the live chat for the use and abuse. Live chat on YouTube or stream them later in the week on your favorite podcasting app. That is the Use and Abuse podcast. And speaking of the ATSW escape pod, Della Snooch and Brady Big Lovin'. You need to put quotes around that. Otherwise, I will read it from the teleprompter.
Lovin'?
No, he's huge.
Well,
he really is.
I'm sure he's not huge where it counts, but we'd have to ask his wife.
It's a bold statement. He knows where you live. Donnell Snooch and Brady Big Lovin' from the Escape Pod will be releasing a pre-recorded show this week on 8/11, covering Bad Batch episodes 12 through 14.
I thought we were doing Bad Batch.
They will return live on the 18th with a very special crossover where they'll be recapping the Bad Batch Season 1 in its entirety with hosts Dave and Jason from the Sidebar Cantina. That's us.
I know those guys.
Yeah. Watch them on YouTube Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time or stream them on your favorite podcasting app. Sweet Studios is back cooking up waffles in the studio. Until then, jam out on past covers of artists like
waffles.
Cover artists like Metallica, Pantera, Nirvana from the quarantine sessions. Subscribe to Sweet Studios on YouTube and follow him on Instagram for updates. 5 to 5:30 start time? Question mark. Got to post it. Oh wait, no, that's sorry.
You didn't have to verbalize the question mark.
I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm reading the fucking teleprompter.
Whatever you put on the teleprompter, he will read verbatim.
And listen, as part of the Red 5 Network, the Used and Abused podcast and wait, the Used and Abused podcast is on the Red 5 network?
Oh shit.
Holy shit, yes it is. Soon to be announced, I think, by the Red 5 network. Check out red5network.com. The Used and Abused podcast and the Escape Pod and us.
We have spread our seed.
We have
all over the Red 5 network.
All over the face of the Red 5 network, whether they like it or not.
Yeah.
They have.
It's non-consensual. We've just fucking jizzed all over Red 5.
We're taking over. And quite frankly, if there's one more podcast that kind of spawns from our greatness, I think we have to make our own network. I mean, I like the Red 5 network. Don't get me wrong. Props. You guys are the bomb diggity. But yeah, I mean, shit. We're carrying a lot of fucking weight here, man.
Yeah.
I mean, shit. Anyway. That's all I got. Used and Abused podcast, now part of the Red 5 network. So you can go to red5.com and you'll be able to find Used and Abused, the Escape Pod, us, the Sidebar Cantina.
Yeah.
All in one spot. It's the fucking best.
Fucking right, man.
I'm done. We're done with my read.
All right. We have planted those seeds and they're sprouting and growing.
And facialed.
Indeed, we have. So that's it. So next week, we are talking about the end of the Bad Batch. In addition to that, apparently 2 days later, we are talking about the Bad Batch again with the Escape Pod guys.
Listen, I will tell you that I'm caught up. I'm fully caught up.
Okay, so you did watch the last episode?
I did watch the Bad Batch, the latest episode.
Don't blow our wads like we did all over Red 5.
All over Red 5. All over the facial area of Red 5.
That's the type of scenario where you take all your clothes off. You're just fucking around naked, just fucking everywhere.
No, dude, the Bad Batch is looking. They made an announcement that there's going to be a season 2, which I think is great.
Yep.
And I'm looking forward to part 2 of the finale, which we will talk about.
Yes, we will.
I will also say that I am, as somebody who was not necessarily enthralled with how the Bad Batch was going, I'm looking forward to the end of it.
Yeah.
And if you're into doing things on Discord, on our Discord,
yes,
for the Sidebar Cantina podcast, there is a Bad Batch spoilers thread. So if you've watched it, then you can shoot your proverbial load all over the Bad Batch fucking spoilers thread.
Which, by the way, I need to figure out a way if there's
you can mute it.
Okay, because
you can 100%
because Friday came around. Yeah, Friday came around. I hadn't seen the new episode yet because I had to go to fucking work. Fuck work. And I'm seeing all these people like posting, and I'm getting these notifications on my phone, like, "Oh fuck, did you see the new episode?" I'm like, "No, stop." So I didn't want spoilers.
I did the same thing. I was at work, and I fucking like, what the how? So I went into the app, and you can mute
certain channels.
Yep, you can mute individual channels of the server.
All right,
so
I need to do that. So. After the Bad Batch next week, we're rolling into our next iteration of Chappelle Show, the third breakdown of season 1 of Chappelle Show. Woo-hoo! And then after that, we are talking about Sonic the Hedgehog.
Right. Because that's 30 years old. Right? 30?
It is.
It's 30 fucking years old.
Which, I mean... And I think in addition to Sonic, I think we should talk about the whole Sega Genesis. Yeah, because obviously Sonic was it was the anchor.
It was
for the Sega Genesis.
It was the launcher of it.
Yeah, honestly. And man, I can't believe that was 30 fucking years ago, but so many stories at that time. And apparently we've actually mapped out our shows after that, which I have no memory of
until like 2022. Well, and remember, like, look,
right?
You've been imbibing alcohol damn near every show the past like 3. So
because I've stopped carrying, man.
Any discussion we've had post show, it could be lost.
There was a baseball movie about I think it was The Fan. It was Robert De Niro was like this obsessive fan of baseball. Right. And fucking what's his name? Tax evader. Blade.
Wesley Snipes.
Wesley Snipes, yeah, he was a baseball player.
Yeah.
And there was this moment in that movie where it's like,
well, you mean he wasn't fucking Hayes, what the hell was his full name? Shit. Anyway, go ahead.
So anyway, he was a baseball player, and he was having this conversation with fucking what's his name, and he's like, "Well, what helped you get through that slump?" And he's just like, "I just stopped caring, man." And that's where I am in life right now. I just kind of stopped caring, and it makes life a lot easier when you don't give a shit anymore.
Yeah. Well, but we're here. We're doing the podcast.
Robert De Niro, that was the other guy. Robert De Niro,
You
Wesley
said Robert
Snipes.
De Niro.
Right, but then the second time I meant to reference him, I forgot his name. So
Wesley Snipes, Major League. I guess.
I think it was called The Fan.
Willie Mays Hayes was his name, right?
In
Yes.
the movie?
Yeah, in Major League. Wesley Snipes was Willie
Well,
Mays Hayes.
not Major League, though. Major League was a fucking comedy that mostly starred Charlie Sheen. This is a movie. This was like a serious movie.
No. I'm not saying that was the movie. I'm just saying that Wesley Snipes was Willie Mays Hayes in Major League. So he was playing a baseball player in that movie. I don't know the one about.
That's what they call a typecast in Hollywood. But
Facts.
he played a baseball player again in a movie that, again,
It probably wasn't nearly as fast.
I'm pretty sure is called The Fan, about Robert De Niro, who was an obsessive fan. But anyway, the whole point of the thing was he just stopped caring. Jason Roskam just stopped caring.
Good.
So
it'll be making more fun at work.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, I have to go to work tomorrow, and I've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 beers, and I might have a 7th before I go to bed.
Oh, we got post show. We got
and
stay lubricated for the post show.
Again, I don't care.
Nice.
And Kristen should be home. Hun, can you bring out another one of these? There's like 3 more in the fridge. Can you bring me one when you come out for the post show? Thanks, dear. Love you.
Anyway, we ready for the post show?
I think we are.
Follow us at the Sidebar Cantina. Go to whatever our Linktree is.
we have a Linktree in our YouTube and in the audio version of the podcast.
Yes,
there will be a Linktree that goes to all of our fucking links.
Yeah, TeePublic, we've got some nice t-shirts up there. Wally Frogmore Originals. Go in there and get yourself some llamas on Tatooine. And some other sidebar stuff, because I'm not looking at it, so I'm just kind of going off the cuff here. But exercise that. Gird your loins with some fucking Sidebar Cantina shit.
Oh, yeah. All right.
And you will do it.
And you will do it. Make the sacrifice. That being said, thanks everybody who's been participating in the chat on this Sunday evening.
Right.
Be flexible is all I'll
be.
say. And to everybody else who's listening to the audio and on the Red 5 network, thank you so much. We will be back next week with some more content. And until then, Dave and everybody else, go fuck yourself.
Bring this glass again. Okay, now what do I click?
And we are officially in the post show.
And use and abuse. Yes, Jason did correctly say it was The Fan. I've never seen it. And I watch baseball movies because I'm an idiot. But, I could... It's not worth doing a show on, but I can definitely give you my top 5 baseball movies. We're talking about...
Fucking don't give me Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come. If you build it, I'll fucking come all over your fucking back.
Remember that Field of Dreams has nothing to do with baseball, more about a relationship with a father and his
still,
son.
It's movie's so gay.
No, fucking, you want the best baseball movie ever made? Ever?
Hold on. I mean, besides The Sandlot?
Besides The Sandlot.
A League of Their Own?
That is a great movie.
That is a really good movie.
Very entertaining.
Yeah.
No. The Natural.
I've never seen it.
It is from a baseball standpoint, and like the story of a ball player and going from fame and everything else, and the Natural is a amazing movie. It is absolutely epic.
Yeah.
The Natural, Bull Durham, The Sandlot, League of Their Own, great movies.
Yeah.
I like Field of Dreams. I don't hate it.
Yeah, no, it was like, to me, because I wasn't a big baseball guy growing up, I was more of a football guy, and the fact that everybody fucking loved it and it was so overhyped.
It had so little to do with baseball, though.
Sure,
and that's like, you put Major League in that category too.
Well, Major League was fun.
Yeah.
Like, I liked Major League even when it first came out.
But like Bull Durham is you put yourself in the actual like spikes of a fucking minor league baseball player, right?
Yeah.
So like goes to that story. The Natural, when baseball was at what the Field of Dreams is talking about with like baseball with the fucking the early White Sox guys and everything else. Like the Natural is those ball players. It's
right.
Like, you get somebody out there who could throw and could hit and fucking takes a gunshot and has some fucking hot broad fucking up his life. All those things, it's Natural is a great fucking movie.
Yeah. My favorite scene from Major League, because you know how Charlie Sheen's theme.
Shut up.
What?
Hang on a second.
What?
League was filmed in my hometown, Vickers.
Wait, what? Where's his hometown?
I know he's from Indiana. Ended up being an extra in the stands.
Sorry.
Fucking hell. That's fucking awesome. We have to watch it.
League of Their Own?
No, fucking Major League.
Oh, so yeah, no, Major League. Like my favorite, how Charlie Sheen's theme was like Wild Thing.
Charlie Sheen.
The fucking female owner, like at the end of the movie when they come into the final game and it like is playing Wild Thing and he's coming out and she's like, I hate this fucking song.
Yeah,
I love that so much.
What's funny about Major League is as funny. Like you reach different stages of your life where you appreciate different characters, right? And you go into it and you appreciate. At the end of this, like watching it now, I appreciate Bob Uecker's character more than anybody else's. Like, fuck me, fuck this fucking baseball team. Give me another drink, blah. Because I listened to the radio for most of I subscribe to MLB. On the MLB app, so I can listen to all the games, regardless of what.
Sure.
Would you think? Oh, you're in the same fucking town as your baseball team and the football team, but the goddamn tyrants at fucking Comcast won't let me watch a goddamn baseball game, so I have to listen to it on the radio, or I have to fucking give them money.
Right.
Fuck you, Comcast. Fuck you. Fuck you right in the fucking face, you fucking faggots.
Because you love the company of other men.
Fuck Comcast. Fuck them.
Yeah.
Anyway, right in the ass. And I won't give them any more money. So I'm relegated to listening to the radio, which honestly is better anyway. I know the game well enough where if you're listening to a good broadcaster, you get the image of the game based on what they're saying.
Yeah.
Right. And I grew up in an era where listening to AM radio for the baseball games, those commentators were telling you how the game was being played.
Yeah.
And honestly, I can appreciate the fact that currently the broadcast team for the Phillies for radio is still doing that type of job.
Yeah.
But again, I know the game well enough where you know what's great about listening to a baseball game on the radio? And this is the shit that people can't stand, right? It's the moments of just nothing.
Yeah.
Because baseball boring, right? That's the biggest complaint people have about baseball. For me, those moments where I just sit there and listen to the crowd noise between pitches and the announcers aren't saying anything. They're just letting you listen to it. It gives you the idea of like you're actually sitting there waiting for the pitch to be thrown.
Yeah.
Like I love that. I think that's a part of the game. It's not a game of fucking, it's not hockey. It's not where you have to be on your fucking.
Hey!
It's not a thing where you have to be fucking constantly swiveling your head to keep track of what's going on. Like baseball, you have to know some bare minimum stuff. What's happening behind me?
She doesn't have a beer with her, so because I asked you to.
When? You just said
both on the show and I sent you a text message. You're holding your phone in your hand, and I sent you a text message and asked you to bring me a beer.
Text him back and say, "Get your own fucking beer."
Wait, what?
Does that say
Nope.
Give me a beer.
It doesn't.
I thought you were watching the show.
Oh.
So you didn't text
So
her.
so there was no texting.
I was really hoping you'd bring me something. She'll be back in a minute.
Yes. Vickers, night. I will see you tomorrow for roll call at 9 a.m. Well,
Guess when my roll call is?
I know when you're roll call
7
is.
a.m.
I don't have to guess.
Yeah. So.
This is why I love it on the other side.
But again, to quote Wesley Snipes from The Fan, I just stopped caring. You know, I'm in a fortunate position right now with work.
Yeah,
where, I don't have to give a shit. I could walk out tomorrow and they're going to pay me $36,000 a year.
Yep.
So
it's it's not a bad spot to be in.
Yeah.
Having been there, I know it. But in the meantime, like that 7 a.m., fuck that 7 a.m. wake up.
Yeah.
Or fuck that 7 a.m. show, let alone wake up. If you, I don't even. You know what? I don't even want to get into it.
You're welcome.
So do we want to address the elephant in the room?
I think
or
we should tell her.
should we tell her?
Yeah, I think we should tell her.
Hmm.
She's wearing a shirt that says "Pants are bullshit." If you can't see it on YouTube, because I know this is the
show
first show.
the audience. Come on.
Yeah, show the audience.
Show the people.
She's wearing a shirt that says "Pants are bullshit."
They are.
That's fucking great. No, I think you should tell her.
All right. We've been talking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the Sunday night thing really isn't working out.
Really?
Yeah. So we might be moving back to Mondays soon.
I would like that.
Would you?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I would like that.
Okay, good.
I've heard
good.
rumors that
Yes.
that you would enjoy if we went back to Mondays.
I would like that.
Okay, good. Because it's a consideration right
I appreciate that.
now. All right. Very, very good.
It's actually it's going to happen. Like honestly, Sunday night for me, by the time I get here after doing a full weekend of like all the things, I'm fucking exhausted. Like to maintain an energy level on the show is a challenge. So I'd rather have put in a full day of work on Monday, which I'm either going to be like annoyed at all the bullshit at work, and I can bring that right to the show.
You can channel that.
Yeah,
in
I
a
can
good
channel it right
direction.
to the show.
Because everybody loves a good Dave rant.
Yeah. Or I'll be like, I'm indifferent about what the day was, and at least I'm going to go record the podcast, and I have the energy for that. Whereas on Sunday, I'm like, fuck, I'm tired.
So you work harder on the weekends.
Absolutely.
Than you do at work.
During the week, well, so here's the thing. I have a lot of ancillary things that I do, and most of that stuff is during the week. So
he does it to himself.
I do it to myself. It's all self-inflicted. Don't get me wrong. So on the weekend, it's like the only time where I have like, lawn, other random nonsense, like all this shit that has to get done. I cram into the weekend. So by the end of the weekend, I'm like, I'm not rested for going into the work week. So, and doing this on a Sunday, I think honestly, for me, it's probably not helping the show. I know, I know you really want us to go back to Mondays,
I
and
do.
It honestly, it didn't have any bearing on it, but
I must not have mentioned it enough.
or wrote a review about it at all.
Yeah.
Somebody did. Somebody who cares deeply about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm so tired coming into Sunday night.
No, and I was telling Dave before we went live, I was sitting at my computer in the house about an hour before he showed up, and I'm watching some YouTube videos. I'm getting ready for the show, and I'm just like,
yeah,
I'm like, fuck it, I'm head banging and
you
not.
guys are resting wrong. You guys are weekending wrong.
Well, I slept like shit last night too, so that didn't help.
And you're gonna sleep worse tonight.
Wait,
yeah.
Did you see me in Oktoberfest?
There should be like 2 left in the house. Yeah.
So
drink that. No, take a sip. Go ahead. Do it.
That's refreshing.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what you're thinking.
this check out this. What's in here?
Oh.
It's already open. You don't have to you don't have to tear into it. Brady booed during Manning's speech at the Hall of Fame inductions. Really?
Was Peyton Manning
Excellent. Thank you.
inducted into the Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
Ah,
He had Tom Brady in his fucking like family section. That's a real thing.
I mean, I could see that. Like no, like legit. You know, Troy Aikman and Steve Young,
right.
huge heated rivalry in the early to mid '90s, right?
Right.
But they're like good friends in real life, even though those teams fucking hated each other.
it's
Especially
not a lot in common. It's like top tier. Not a lot of people are on that
Peyton
level.
Manning spent a lot of time chasing fucking Tom Brady in those years.
right, where I mean, Manning's hinted at the fact that the Patriots defense was, bending
The rules.
rules a little bit, and
Well, what's funny, I don't know if it's true or not, but I saw it on Bleacher Report that when Manning said, "Yeah, Tom Brady's going to be sitting in like my family section for a Hall of Fame induction," and then Brady's like, "Yeah, I got to go there to make sure that he's like, yeah, he's really retiring. that he's really not going to play anymore." That's always funny. I can't stand the fact that Tom Brady becomes more likable. I just
yeah.
and it's because he's not a fucking Patriot anymore.
You think?
Oh God, 100%, 100%. If he had been winning football games even as a Giant, no, let's not.
Oh.
No, we've gone too far. We've gone too far.
You've crossed the line, Dave.
We were having fun a second ago, but we've gone too far. Yeah. So 2021 Hall of Fame. Yeah, because we had football this weekend.
Wait, what?
Dallas versus the Steelers in the Hall of Fame game.
Oh, the Hall of Fame game was this fucking hell.
It was on Thursday night.
Thursday night football on NBC.
That's not what it is.
No, that's not a thing? Okay.
It's not a real thing.
All right, Thursday night. Let's get here.
Let's see. Who was inducted? Blah, 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 blah. Peyton Manning, Calvin Johnson, Charles Woodson.
Really, Calvin Johnson?
Yeah. He's been out of the league that long. John Lynch.
I'm more like trying to figure out the justification for putting him in the...
For Calvin Johnson?
Yeah,
His standards are really high.
they are. I mean, he's no Jerry Rice, obviously, but...
Okay. I'm not a Lions fan, and I want a Lions fan that's in the chat right now to fucking pipe up on this.
Like, there was only one good Lion ever in the history of the Detroit Lions. His name was Barry Sanders. He was probably the greatest athlete to ever play the game. And he's like, fuck this fucking team. And nobody ever good came out of that city ever again in history.
Let's see.
Went there.
Johnson, comparing Calvin Johnson to Jerry Rice. All right.
There is no comparison. No substitute for you.
All right. So here's what Jerry Rice did. Is the greatest of all time. All right. 21-year career. 1,549 receptions, 22,895 receiving yards, 197 touchdowns. His receiving average was 77 yards. His receiving yards average, I don't know. They're making these numbers up. His touchdown average was 9.85, right? So the big thing was he had 197 touchdowns on almost 23,000 yards in 21 years. Okay, cool. Calvin Johnson. Hang on. Let's talk about Jerry Rice in his first 9 years. 728 receptions, 11,776 yards, 118 touchdowns. And then Calvin Johnson in 9 years had 731 receptions, 11,619 receiving yards, 83 touchdowns.
I mean, that's fantastic. How many years did Calvin Johnson play? How many years was he active?
It wasn't 21.
No. It wasn't 21?
No.
You mean he didn't have 21 good fucking years.
Call him
How
Shania
many-
Twain because
No. I wonder how many
don't
years was he
impress him
active.
much.
Hang on.
I'd love to know. I mean, because he was so fucking great. But I mean, can you be so fucking great for so fucking long?
You'll get
Because-
next year. You'll get next
Because
year, honey.
one guy, one unbelievable physical human specimen was great for 21 fucking years.
So my question is, it doesn't say how long. in
Yeah,
this
I'm sure
article.
it doesn't. I'm sure it leaves that little detail out.
So the real question is, I don't have a nickel in it, but the real question is, who was throwing to Calvin Johnson in his career for him to get that many touchdowns and that many receiving yards?
Does it matter?
It does, because Jerry Rice was getting the ball thrown to him by some of the greatest quarterbacks on the planet.
But it was multiple different quarterbacks. It was Joe Montana
Right.
and Steve Young
Right.
and Jeff Garcia and fucking did he leave before what's his name got there? But anyway.
Yeah.
And
Joe
that was
Montana
and
and fucking
and that was
Steve Young.
But it was also during a few years with Jeff Garcia and whoever fucking numbnuts they had.
Garcia didn't have bad years with the Niners.
No, but as a fucking team, they had shitty records.
Facts.
But
I'm talking about who's throwing you the football, though. Who's putting you in a position where you can make touchdowns? Hall of Famers or fucking the Detroit Lions? Calvin Johnson is a much better player. He's not Jerry Rice. I mean, obviously, you're talking about
Maybe
one of the
he is.
best ever. But Calvin Johnson deserves to be on that list for sure.
Nope.
You can try.
I'm mostly looking at her.
You will fail.
Like, you're making good points. She's about to get fucking shanked.
No, I think Megatron fell under the same fucking umbrella that Barry Sanders did, where he was on a garbage fucking football team.
Yeah.
And if he had Hall of Fame quarterbacks, Calvin Johnson would be one of the greats.
Maybe the greatest.
That's one thing the Patriots can never lay claim to. They do not have a greatest wide receiver, except for Randy Moss for what, like
1.5 seasons.
yeah, exactly. For like at the tail end of his fucking career when he's running like a 5.2 40.
Immune to that right now.
But yeah, so Calvin Johnson got inducted into the Hall of Fame, as he should.
And again, I don't dispute the fact that he should be in the Hall of Fame, but let's not fucking act like this is a big fucking deal.
It is a big deal. It's the Hall of Fame. It's a big deal. It is.
They're like, fuck. Who else is in the Hall of Fame for Detroit? Well, I mean, they've got Barry Sanders. Who else? Ugh. I mean,
sure
Calvin
there was-
Johnson had some good numbers. Fuck, put him in. Put him in. Nominate him.
Nah, Calvin Johnson. Calvin Johnson had. No, you can't. Sorry, dude. Again, I don't have a nickel on this, but I can tell you that Calvin Johnson was a stud on a football team that had no business having him.
He was not bad. He was not bad.
He was a fucking Hall of Famer. He had the numbers.
I guess.
So Howard Carmichael, who was an Eagle.
Who?
Howard Carmichael.
Who the
17.
fuck is that?
He played for the Eagles.
Jim Jimson. That's a real player. Okay.
Howard Carmichael is a fucking Hall of Famer from the Eagles as a wide receiver. When he was playing, he was the tallest wide
Don't make
receiver.
that face. Stop. Nobody likes that face.
Yeah, nobody does. Like
Who?
Harold Carmichael,
Jim Jimson.
number 17.
He
was my first Eagles jersey. I had a Howard Carmichael jersey.
When did he play?
He played in the late 70s and the 80s.
Ah, okay. All the more reason why I've never heard of him in my life.
Well, if you followed fucking football when you were an infant like I did, then you would know.
Which I did not. But anybody who's played since like 1988 or beyond, I know.
You know what? Speaking of 1988, I haven't even looked at the chat, by the way. We've been having this argument, and I haven't looked at the chat for a minute.
Uh,
No, I was watching the 1988 World Series, Game 1, that Kirk Gibson home run.
okay.
Yeah, the super famous one. And it just happened to pop up on my feed, and I'm watching it. I remember watching that game in '88.
Yeah.
I was watching the World Series, and because I fucking hated Oakland. I hated the A's because
They were pretty prominent back then too.
yeah,
Like
the
they were
Jose
always
Canseco,
in like
fucking Mark McGuire.
yeah.
You know,
They were always in the running.
They were. They had Dennis Eckersley. I mean, they had good fucking ball players, but
Yeah.
I just couldn't stand the fucking A's.
Yeah.
The A's, the Oakland A's, that used to be a Philadelphia team.
What?
Yeah. In the early 20th
The
century,
Athletics?
the Athletics were, or actually shit, in the 19th century, the Athletics were in Philadelphia.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yep. So I for whatever reason, I've always held that against them.
When did that move happen? And was it kind of like a and then after that, when did the Phillies come to be?
Phillies were there too. They had an American League and a National League team.
Oh.
Phillies have been around for a long time. Phillies have the most losses. Well, maybe not. Phillies have the most losses in Major League history. Like they've been around so long.
Yes. The one record that will never be beat.
Dude, I think I was in the ballpark when that happened.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was fucking fuck.
Oh my God.
But it happened. What's funny is it happened when they were doing really well. It was I think it was like 2010.
That's the whole Brett Favre interception record, right? Brett Favre holds the record for most interceptions by a quarterback in history because he played for so fucking long. You know, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
So, I mean, somebody is going to eventually have the most losses.
So the Philadelphia Athletics, they were among the first teams in the professional baseball. They turned professional in the late 1860s and helped establish the league.
God damn.
Which ended playing in 1871. The Athletics continued playing National League until 1901 when the American League was formed. Blah, 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 blah. 1901, Philadelphia had a new franchise created with the National League, Philadelphia Phillies. Again, we're talking about early 1900s.
Yeah.
Connie Mack owned 25%. So the Athletics American League received setback in 1902. Tell me when they fucking moved.
I know. It should be
Jesus
right there.
Christ.
Like, how hard is that to find?
Well, there's Connie Mack Stadium. Or there's Shibe Park, rather. They lost in 1914. All right. It looks like 1932.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fucking 90 years ago.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
No, I had no idea. I'm pretty familiar with teams moving locations and the what was it, the Michigan Lakers moved to Los Angeles where they had no lakes.
Yeah, that could be fucking. There's a lot of bullshit.
Basketball.
Remember when the didn't the Escape Pod just do basketball recently?
Did they?
Yeah, I think they did.
You haven't? It's
Or The Sandlot. What was the other one you were talking about? Oh, Goonies. Haven't seen that either.
Well, we know that.
Yeah.
Like,
you haven't seen Sandlot?
No.
That's a dude movie.
Yeah, like it's.
But yeah, I mean, I don't think you'd hate it. I just think it's not geared towards girls.
Well, see, I said that about Stand By Me, and that was the thing. Like, I asked her, like, what?
She's used to movies being about boys,
right? So, and that's a whole conversation in itself.
Yeah.
You know, girls from the 80s. Basically, that's all you had, right?
Like the girls coming of age movies, I guarantee you probably never seen. Like Now and Then.
I know of it,
Yeah,
but I
but
have
you
not
know-
watched it.
Yeah, and it's certainly not in the same category, Sam. I mean, we're not even going to pretend that, but
Right.
but yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't see it as a movie about a bunch of boys. It's about people, and kids.
Yeah, but they were given She-Ra because Mattel realized early on in the cycle of He-Man that girls were as big of an audience as boys were for He-Man, and they're like, "Fuck, we gotta,"
Hashtag what about She-Ra?
yeah.
And at
And
the same time, I loved He-Man. Like my next door neighbor had all the He-Man. I thought that was so cool. It did not
what
matter.
neighbor?
His name was Sam, and he had a crush on Catherine. What?
Really?
Yeah.
How well do you know Sam?
I don't know.
He had a lot of
My
He-Man.
sister's age, so it's like 8 or something. I don't know.
Okay, all right. Did you fucking suck his dick or what?
Yeah, that's what happened. I didn't want to say it.
37.
In a row? What were we talking about?
Baseball.
Baseball.
Somehow.
Yes.
Somehow we're talking about
the
baseball.
A's. The Athletics moving in 1932
Yeah.
to Oakland.
Yeah, right prior to the Depression.
And then eventually in the 1980s and early 90s, they had success. So,
Yeah, with fucking roid heads.
yeah.
Canseco at the time, I think Canseco played in that 88 World Series, and then in 89 was on fucking doing wrestling. I mean, it was like his fall from grace was pretty big.
Mm.
I had their rookie cards though. I remember when I was collecting baseball cards, their rookie cards were worth a lot.
I collected baseball cards in 84 and 85. If like there was a Topps baseball card printed in 84 and 85, I had it.
Right.
Outside of that, I had nothing. But I had a lot of NFL cards that were worth nothing
See,
in the late 80s and early 90s.
I never bothered collecting anything NFL.
Yeah.
Like I have a handful like currently, but
the card shop that I bought a lot of NFL cards from in like 1990, 1991 eventually started carrying Magic the Gathering cards, which I've bought a few Magic cards since
Have
then.
you?
Yeah, a couple.
Handful.
Yeah. Here and there.
Fair enough.
Now and again. Sometimes.
No, what's funny is like baseball cards. There was a baseball card shop down the shore. So when we went down there for the summer, it was right at the entrance to the campground. So we would, if I wanted spending money, I had baseball cards. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna just start offloading baseball cards. So this dude, it gave me pennies on what they were fucking worth, but I didn't care. I just wanted fucking money at the time.
Yeah.
Right. I think back on how many fucking cards that dude ripped me off on. Like it just, if I found it, I'd stab him. I'd stab him in the fucking street.
Yeah.
I know there's cards. The only cards I really held on to, I have a couple of complete sets. I've got 88, 89, 87, I think.
You still have them?
Yeah.
Oh, no shit.
But like a lot of older ones than that would probably have been worth something. Got rid of. Like those McGuires, those Cansecos, Ken Griffey.
Oh yeah.
I had Cal Ripken cards that I got rid of, which I should have never. So yeah, but I kept a lot of Phillies cards just because
obviously
Phillies.
Yeah, you're gonna do that.
Yeah, so. And none of them were shit. Hotter than Boobala from Red 8 RE8 Don. What? What are we talking about?
No idea what's going on right now.
Oh, Jose Canseco. Luna Girl has a large collection of basketball cards. Why
basketball
on fucking earth would you collect basketball cards?
If it's not Shaq or Kobe, why?
All right. Well, the NBA lost its relevancy to me in let's see, what year was it that Charles Barkley went to?
Yeah, I was gonna say Barkley.
Yeah. I followed the Sixers up until Barkley went to Phoenix.
Patrick Ewing.
I never bought into. If I couldn't, well, let's put it this way: if I couldn't play a character as a Sixer on a fucking video game, then I wasn't interested.
I mean, let's be honest. We had when was the Dream Team? Was that 1990?
That was 94. I think.
No,
Was it?
it wasn't that late.
I thought it was 94.
No, 92 at the latest.
You know what? Yeah, I think you're right. Now that I think about it, because Barkley
Yeah.
wasn't in 94.
Like
Barkley wasn't.
you think about the dream team, and that was like truly the epitome of the best fucking basketball we've ever seen in
92.
our lifetimes.
Dream team.
You had fucking Magic, you had Jordan, Larry Bird, Patrick Ewing,
Yep.
Charles Barkley, the best fucking basketball players we have ever seen.
Magic Johnson was on that team.
I said Magic.
You had Magic, Charles, Chris Mullin, John
Oh
Stockton.
yeah, well you have to have one white guy. You know, it's
Larry Bird.
You had Larry Bird.
oh, okay, yeah. Dude,
Michael
you go
Jordan.
back and you watch like video of Larry Bird playing basketball. That dude was fucking insane.
Yeah, it was.
I lived in Massachusetts. It was
Yeah.
Larry Bird all day, every
Like
day.
Yeah.
that dude was like for a fucking again for a white guy, that guy was fucking unbelievable
Yeah,
when it came to fucking basketball.
Yeah, Bird was legit. And the Sixers in those days had they're good teams with Dr. J and everybody else.
Yeah,
They always had a hell of a time against fucking Bird and that Celtics team.
yeah.
But yeah, so the Sixers up until the point where Barkley left, and I was like, you know what?
When you went to Phoenix,
Yeah, I don't give a shit about the NBA.
yeah,
And I mean, I've always been a college basketball guy. You know, since I can remember things about basketball, I've always been college.
I've got so many stories from the early '90s about like pro basketball and the NBA, and just hating Jordan and the fucking Bulls so much. I fucking hated them because they always won. They were the Patriots of
Yeah.
fucking basketball at the time. You know,
Yeah.
they always fucking won. And I can remember watching a game with them versus the Phoenix Suns. And Barkley was on the Suns at the time. And it
Yeah.
was the game was so close up to the fucking wire. I think it was a playoff game. And at the last fucking second, Jordan just fucking sinks a fucking like literally at the fucking buzzer for the win. It's like,
Right.
what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
Come on.
It seemed like every game geared up for Jordan to have a
But-
fucking night like that.
But legitimately, in retrospect, he was the greatest player to ever play the game of basketball.
No, facts.
Fuck LeBron James, fuck Kobe, fuck Magic, any of those guys.
Oh my God.
Michael Jordan was the best player to ever play that game.
See,
Period.
So Jason,
And I hated him back
Yeah.
in the day. I
So-
hated him.
so Jason does this thing, right? So this is the thing. He's got Jerry Rice or nothing, right?
Mhm.
Michael Jordan or nobody. Like nobody deserves to be in a Hall of Fame because they're not
It
Michael
should be
Jordan.
a Hall of Fame of like one person.
One person.
Yeah,
Well, yeah.
like a shrine.
I mean,
Right.
Nobody else.
is that not how this works? Or
No.
oh,
No, it
okay.
doesn't, because there's different times.
Okay. All right. Whatever. And again, I hated Jordan in the
I
90s.
hated Jordan.
I
too.
could not fucking stand him.
You know what? It wasn't as much. It wasn't the Bulls as much as it was the fucking fans.
Yeah.
All the people walking around in Philly with fucking bullshit on. I wanted I wanted to push them into the fucking street
Yeah.
because I was too little to do anything else.
Well, and that was the same in California.
Yeah.
Everybody had bullshit on because they were the ones that won.
yep.
So,
Front running bullshit. It's the
Yeah.
same people that they wore Cowboys shit.
yep, there was a lot of Cowboys fans. There were a lot of Buffalo Bills fans, even though they made it to the big game, but they couldn't fucking seal the deal.
Poor Bills.
Yeah.
The poor fucking.
They were like a
Buffalo
fucking
Bills.
55-year-old who got to the fucking end of the game and then they couldn't get it up when it mattered. So,
I look. Spoiler alert! My early AFC pick this year is the Bills.
they're good right now. I mean,
Yeah.
they're really good. So,
They got a good
that's
quarterback.
not a bad pick at
They've-
all.
They've signed some really good wide receivers.
It's I think it's the cold, you know. I was in the pool, right? You know, you get in the fucking cold and
That's advanced. shit up
everything
there.
just fucking like pulls in.
You get
know,
that
it's
lake
like
effect fucking snow. It's just awful. It's
Yeah.
hard. Just
like I just gotta I gotta go turtle style here.
well, the
And-
best is you bring a fucking warm weather team up into that and see how they do.
Yeah.
Although a lot of these facilities now, the indoor facilities, they can simulate like extreme cold.
Did the Bills play indoors?
I mean, if they play another team indoors,
Yeah.
but they're stadiums and open air stadiums, so they're getting lake effect snow in fucking October.
And yeah, used and abused brought it up. Bandwagon.
Yeah.
Like bandwagoners were everywhere. Be it fucking Cowboys, be it the fucking Bulls, be it whoever the fuck was doing well at the time. Whereas for me, I was always 49ers. Yes, they were doing really well at the time when I became aware of football. I know, but I stuck with them during the fucking 1 in 15 years and everything else, and I still stick with them today. So
That is dedication.
it is dedication.
To still be a fan today.
Says the fucking Patriots fan.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
just keep talking there, champ.
look,
Well,
Eagles,
it's gonna go on forever.
Eagles fan,
Right.
right here.
Yeah, there you go.
Eagles fan. We got a one-shot pony.
Yeah.
Well,
Where's Doug Peterson now? Like, what's he doing?
I don't even think he's on ESPN. I think
Yeah.
he's just fucking chilling.
How about your boy?
Big Dick Nick.
Yeah, where's he now?
I know. I think he got released by the Bears or something. I don't
Yeah.
know. I am happy to have had a championship.
And
Really, really happy.
it was well deserved. Like you guys fucking
had a
fought
hell of
tooth
a
and
game.
nail to get
We
that
had a
fucking
hell of a
championship.
game. And that fucking the defense was phenomenal that night.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're not in a position right now to do anything close to that. So that's unfortunate.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. We'll see what the season will bring.
Yeah.
And then that, it's fucking, we've been going for 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
And we have to work tomorrow. Sad face.
Yeah.
So I don't know who's still here. Hopefully you're having your own conversations because we were ignoring the chat for the majority of that.
I know, right?
And we apologize, even though the post show was for you.
Yeah.
And
there's still allegedly 6 people in there.
So somebody in ATSW, the escape pod, I guess Don said he found out that Shira is owned by another company, so she won't be part of this show.
What?
Aw.
Get the fuck out. Who's she owned by?
I don't know.
Google it.
It's got to be Mattel, though. Mattel owned fucking He-Man. They were
Yeah.
fucking He-Man, and they had to have created She-Ra on top of that.
Mhm.
Maybe not anymore.
Dude. Bruh.
Let's see. Let's look at the She-Ra Wikipedia. And
Reactor.
reactor. No, I don't need to know powers and abilities. I get all that. Who fucking
I could just tell you.
What?
I had the castle. I had the
Oh, we're talking about She-Ra. Yeah.
the fuck?
Look,
There's nothing in here that says about.
so me and my best friend Rob, who we were so all in, that is how we met.
Aw.
Was I'm walking around my apartment complex. I come around a corner and Rob is playing with fucking He-Man toys. My mother tells this story so well. She says, I run into our fucking apartment. I'm like, oh my God, I just saw a guy who has all these He-Man toys. And she says, I scooped up all my fucking He-Man toys in my arms and I ran out to go play with him. And we had She-Ra toys.
Mhm.
Like legitimately, after She-Ra became a part of the He-Man universe,
Mhm.
like we bought fucking She-Ra and her fucking horse and a couple of her other fucking cronies and the one
Right.
bad fucking girl from She-Ra. So even the boys like recognize the importance of She-Ra and we're like, okay, we need to have these fucking toys. We had the Tila toys. We had the fucking Evil Lynn toys. We had all of that. So again, it was never about excluding the girls
Yeah.
or any of that. It was about, this
was
is
a great set of. It was a great cartoon. They were great toys. And
Yeah.
they integrated really well together.
in
So,
2020, there
it
was a
genius.
Netflix animated revival series, She-Ra and the Princesses of
Yes.
Power.
I've heard it's good, but I have not seen it.
2020?
Yeah.
Like last year?
They look all
According-
different. It's animated different. I have not seen it.
Huh.
When showrunner Noel Stevenson first took the reins of She-Ra, revamped in the 1990s, blah, 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 blah.
Well, I'm more curious about the ownership aspect.
That tastes good. Smelled it from over here.
Ooh.
Was it hoppy?
A little bit. Little fucking Oktoberfesty.
I heard they've decided to put more hops in it.
This doesn't say either. The fuck?
I don't know, because that was a big thing that we mentioned last week.
It's definitely different animation. That's for sure.
Yeah, was the whole She-Ra aspect. It's like, you wanna push the strong female character to the forefront. We've already got one who already has her own fucking power sword and everything else.
Well, apparently
Her name is fucking She-Ra.
Apparently they don't have the fucking licensing rights to incorporate her into the show. So
Which makes no fucking sense. It should all be under Mattel. Or who bought Mattel? Was it Hasbro? Does Hasbro just fucking own everything
I
now?
don't know. Everything is owned by the 3 people. So
Yeah,
who knows?
Like everything, like literally, like all TV, all radio, all fucking toys, all merch. It's all owned by 3 to 4 different companies.
Did I post in the cantina or somewhere when I looked at the bottle? I looked at the back of a soap bottle, and it said Colgate Palmolive on it. And I'm like, wait a minute.
That used to be 2 different things.
Yeah. Well, you know what? All that proves is that toothpaste is just soap for your teeth.
Yeah.
Teeth soap. That sounds awful. But it's not inaccurate.
Right.
Right?
I guess not.
Well, yeah.
Teeth soap. We should start it. We should start a whole company. Like this Dr. Squatch fucking soap thing. We should start teeth soap.
And make it taste like soap.
Right.
So you get that nostalgic feeling when you would be like, shit. And your parents shove the bar of soap in your fucking mouth and you
had this taste like
No?
fucking zest.
Nobody else? Yeah.
You can have it in
Zestfully
the
clean.
different soap flavors.
Right. You have zest.
Like ivory, if you're more
Ivory soap.
ivory,
Yeah, I remember ivory soap.
You're
Or
not fully
Safeguard.
clean unless you're zestfully clean.
We gotta go.
It's time to wrap it up. Yeah.
Wrap that shit up, B.
Wrap it up.
All right, get out of here. Go do your
All right.
thing.
I'm going to log off because it's going to disconnect this thing. Yes. See ya. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. I'm leaving the studio. I'm shutting this. Unplugging that.
Bye.
Like your camera gets all the way to that back gross corner. Did you notice that?
Yeah. And but if I shift it that way, I lean back like this a lot.
Oh.
And then I'm out of the
suppose,
picture.
Yeah.
We just need to put a poster there.
Yeah, that's
You
not
need to put
camera
this-
ready. That's behind the scenes.
The whole thing is behind the scenes.
Yeah. We're doing what we do. It's
Yeah.
I know we're still live, Scott. Cool your fucking tits.
This thing on?
Yeah. So, Kristen and I have been talking about
Are we still on?
we are still
Okay.
live about possibly doing our own separate
Oh yeah?
endeavor.
Yes.
Yes.
I don't even have time for that.
Well, we're going to keep it to an hour because we're busy people and we assume that anyone who wants to watch would also be busy people.
Yes.
So,
But yeah, we're talking about doing our own separate content.
Nice.
In addition to the Sidebar Cantina, in addition to Jason reacting to Rick and Morty, and
it'll film on Sundays.
That was fucking hilarious.
oh, such sweet irony. But we're talking about doing something to the effect of like a couple's. How do you even want to describe it?
It's hard to describe it without making it sound like it's mature. Describe it.
All right, so we each take each other's clothes off,
No.
and then oh no, wait, that was a different thing. No,
Saving that for Discord.
like no, no, OnlyFans. But the initial concept was something like the couple that plays together, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like playing games together, be it board games, video games, whatnot.
You
And
guys could do Dr. Mario. It's like
that was going to be episode number 1,
Yeah.
actually.
as it should be.
You know, something to that effect, because we have a lot of board games and things that we play together, video games, and that was kind of going to be the theme, the couple that plays together, and obviously we'd end every show with stays together. But
Nice.
That was the first part we came up with.
yeah.
Right, was it? That,
And when she says we, she means me, but
right. Start with the tagline and everything else will work itself out.
indeed. So, you know, we're talking about it. So that's it's a thing it's been brewing for a while now.
Nice.
So
That'll be fun.
We're gonna get matching tattoos.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Like on the show?
that was her idea, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
okay, well, first of all, she wanted to get
First
some.
it's like, oh, I came up with everything.
No,
That was her idea.
no. She brought up the tattoo thing, but then she brought up like fucking like Harry Potter and Hamilton, and I'm like, nah, cool your fucking tits.
That
Chick.
was a joke. That was a joke.
I'm like, but then she came up with
With
like
the real idea.
with a real idea, and I'm like, I could do that.
Mm-hmm. Which
So
I knew he'd say.
so
Are we not sharing that real idea?
I mean, we got to leave some mystique
Oh,
for
okay.
the listening audience. So
For
yeah.
other than 6 people that are watching right now.
4 now. So
Since I logged off.
This
Yeah.
is basically private right now.
right.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you, me, and Lunar Girl and Scott, basically. So yeah, it's in the planning phases.
Nice.
So
That'll be fun.
yeah, indeed.
Good luck finding time. That's the hardest part. But at least you guys live together. So if you really just like, hey, let's do it right now, you can go do it.
Yes.
I'll let
Yeah.
so to speak.
We do go days without seeing each other though. which is-
Multiple days actually. It's like, all right, I'll see you on Monday, on like Wednesday.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, Kathy's Mondays and Tuesdays. It's
Yeah.
like, she gets in late, eats, fucking homework, sleep. See you Wednesday.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Wednesday night after work.
Pretty much.
And
Yeah.
it's also not doing Sundays.
Yeah.
We still have Sunday. Anyway.
All right.
But not because Kristen wanted to.
Right.
That's all right. That's okay.
All right.
But yes.
Peace, everybody. You can't see me, but I'm ending the broadcast now. So see you, Dave. See you next week. All right. Bye, guys. And broadcast.